solo tonight, and we'll see if anybody pops in and wants to chat for a little bit. I just did a food review. If you haven't had a chance to check that out, you're not missing much. It was pretty terrible. It was Warhead sour soda, and it was awful. But I paid for it, so I'm gonna finish drinking it. We'll give this a little bit. We'll see if anybody pops in. Um, if not, we'll call it a night. But if you're watching this back and it's sad, it's like, oh, this fucking dude's talking to himself. All right, we got two people in here. Hello, hello. Hey, what's going on? Hey, Jen, hello. Solo Newt tonight, just like the good old days. That's right. Hey, how we doing? Yeah, Mets is at training tonight. So they're not here tonight, and tomorrow night I have to work a later shift, so we can't do tomorrow night. Um, but next week maybe we'll do Dune or something like that. What's up, Newt? I got hired at Burlington. Oh, okay, sweet, man. Many applications and any craziness at the theater. Lots of craziness at the theater. I'm actually looking to get out of the theater. I think I'm kind of I think I'm kind of done. I think I've kind of reached my limit. There's been a lot of stuff going on of late, and I'm just tired. Madam Web or Howard the Duck. Oh, Howard the Duck. Howard the Duck's exponentially more fun. Um, yeah, I'm just getting tired, man. I'm getting tired of the nonsense because clearly I've been doing this shit a long time. I know what I'm doing, and you look at the playing field and you go like there isn't really a lot of wiggle room in some places, and you just see where the analytics tell you that it's not trending in a good way. So maybe it's just time to make a change. And then I don't know. I have some health issues. Work for Len Kabazinski full time. I don't think he's hiring. Um, Plus, he's in Erie, PA. That's like 3 hours away, 3 hours plus away from here. Um, I went today for a second opinion on a health issue. So I'm gonna wait for the information on that before I say anything. Because if it's nothing, it's nothing. But if it's something, it's something. But I also don't want to be a person who does the whole trying to generate any kind of buzz based on that. It's a scary time right now. Bad year. The chops are back, baby, loving it. Chops are back because we were supposed to be filming. Dang, bro. I know. Fallon was telling me tonight that I gotta start going to her house to do yoga and stuff like that, and start making some changes to my lifestyle and everything. Yeah, the chops are back because we were supposed to be filming Darby's Scream House, and two crews now have dropped out on me because I have a very specific vision on what I want to do, and it has to fit into Donald's movie in a very specific way, and they didn't like that, so they dropped out. So much for being an artist, right? I'm waiting till probably the second week of March to shoot it again once Fallon's back and we can shoot. But I got to get rid of these probably and cut my hair and shit like that. Getting old sucks. Got to take care of yourself. That is very true. Um, yeah, I mean, I hope it's not what I think it is, but we'll see. Greetings and salutations. Hello, Macabro. Um, Good morning, Batman. I wish I was Batman. Man, I hope it's nothing. Ended up with COVID for a week after dodging it for 4 years. Yeah, I didn't get it until I got it in 2019. Yo, what's up, Gamer Guys Reviews? I didn't get it until I had it in 2019 before anybody knew what it was, and then I didn't get it again until 2022. Yeah, November 2022. So I avoided all that time. What I miss? What's going on? You okay? Yeah, I had a second opinion at the doctor today on a significant medical thing. So we'll see what that is before I say anything to anybody about it. Because hopefully it's nothing. Hopefully it's a whole lot of nothing and it's all good. They gave me they wrote me a prescription for something, and hopefully after a while of taking it, we'll see if that changes things. But yeah, getting old sucks. And then just tonight, I just kind of had like a realization that like I don't know how much longer I can put up with doing the theater stuff. So I think I'm going to be looking for something different pretty soon. Because I don't see. I just feel like I'm standing still, and it's a lot of things too. Like the film stuff has kind of slowed down over the last few months. Usually, I wish it was just that. I've been lucky that I've never caught anything, and I've been with some promiscuous ladies in my life. But I'm overly careful. But no, nothing like that. It's more of like when you get to a certain age and they have to stick a finger in your butt, and they got some results they didn't like. So yeah, it'll probably be the only time in my life I can say that. All right. A unicorn is just a horse with a nail in its head. No, but other than that, it's been a weird period of time. We can't get. I'm having a hard time getting film production stuff going. Life is changing, and I'm in need of some change, and the channel's kind of becoming a little bit less of a concern. Views are way down, but it seems to make people. How many times are you going to review Madam Web? I'm not anymore. I only reviewed it once. Then I did a rant video, and then I let Lana and Dave do it because Lana got her eye fixed, and she's wanted to do something. So I was like, well, why don't you guys do Madam Web? And then they also shot a Dune review of the '84 Dune, which will be next Wednesday's What the Fuck Wednesday. And then eventually, hopefully, we can all get back together and start shooting stuff because I really, really enjoy reviewing movies with Lana because she definitely gets my thing. Yeah, hell no. It was just behind a Wendy's. But I assumed he was a doctor. He was holding a can of Dr. Pepper. I mean, that's no. I went for my checkup. You get your 40-something-year-old guy checkup, and have you thought of converting a Thomas Million films? No, but it's always on the. It's always something that I've looked into. I actually know his work a little bit. I was kind of looking at. I want to do Race wants to do some Japanese stuff soon, and yeah, it's fine. It could be nothing. It could be absolutely nothing. It could be a swollen prostate, and then we're good. But if it's not, well, that we got to figure that out. Mr. Pibb. Yeah, you got to go with the doctor. Imagine getting like your prostate checked by Dr. Mario or Dr. Dre or Dr. Acula, Dr. Thunder. If you're, I wiped them with my knife and with my napkin. Plenty of people have had their prostates checked by Dr. Dre, apparently. Yeah, well, there was the joke years ago. The joke was prostate cancer gets more women than me, and then it got used in a Red Letter Media movie, and I was like, God damn it! I thought that was a good line, but apparently I didn't come up with it. But no, how is everybody tonight? Mets is at wrestling training. I told them that I was probably going to stream tonight just to kind of get my mind off shit. Um, you know. Okay, Roberto. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at stuff that I haven't talked about yet, or things that like interest me. I've been going back and like watching a lot of other channels that I've never seen before. I was watching this dude, 42nd Street Pete, and he's this guy who worked in 42nd Street during like the 70s and the 80s. And a lot of the channels that he follows, I've been watching them. and there's a guy who does like tough guy cinema reviews, and he had these really cool reviews about like really grimy cop movies of the 70s and the introduction of like split screen cinema and stuff. So I've been kind of going down a rabbit hole of that recently and like reinvigorating myself on a lot of cinema that I've like haven't thought about in a long time or just completely neglected over the years. And hopefully that'll kind of spark something. I sat down, I started writing last Sunday. Doing all right, enjoying the staycation, watching some. Oh yeah, man, you're having a good time. Um, yeah, Macabro. I've just discovered him, and I really like his stuff. Yeah, what's up, Joe? It's just this old dude. He sits down like me, and just starts talking and starts telling stories about the glory days of the grindhouses and the porno theaters and the VHS trade in the beginning and stuff like that. And I love hearing that kind of stuff. You're hosting a movie night tomorrow. What are you showing tomorrow, Jordan? I'll be at work, but I love when people are doing movie nights. We first started the Discord, I wanted to do more, but like if we're not, streaming or doing a review to stay ahead on things, I'm did you see Lisa Frankenstein? No. I gotten out of my doctor's appointment a little bit earlier today. I was actually going to go to the theater that was right next to the doctor's office I was at, but we got done too late, and I didn't want to miss the beginning of the movie last time. But I saw a hold on. What was that? You had a funny story about Jason Mewes and Corey Haim, but you couldn't tell it. Yeah. All right. I'll tell that story real quick. So if you go back on the channel to 2 summers ago, I did a review for this movie called Ghost House, La Casa 3. Directed. It's a Poltergeist rip-off movie, and I reviewed it with my ex-best friend. I mean, not ex-best friend. We're still friends, but like we used to be like brothers when we were kids. Kevin Oros. I was on the set of his show at the time, and I was like, let's sit down, let's talk about Ghost House. We both haven't seen it in years, but I mean, we could quote it, like Bible verses for some people. And so, yeah, back in the day, so Kevin went away to the University of Akron, and I went away to the University of Vancouver for a little bit. I didn't particularly like film school, so I came back and started working at the Regal Theater where I met Silverman, who I used to be friends with. And so when Kevin would come back, we would hang out. Well, he got friendly with these people who were in different states of production and stuff like that. And these guys were kind of shady down in Atlantic City, New Jersey. This guy Snitsky, I think was his name. He was like a ex-pro wrestler or something. So that guy got him connected with this dude Armageddon Ed, who got him connected with Rick Darris from the Kevin Smith stuff. And so I went out to LA in 2004 with the zombie script that I wrote. And Gene Siskey was he was in the WWE. Okay, so yeah, all these guys are like tangentially connected, and they're looking for people who can make stuff but do it their way and keep their mouths shut and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, I still thought at that point I was going to be a filmmaker, and I was just like righteously indignant about some of their ideas. So I go out to LA with the script I wrote. The guy that punted a baby that one time. Oh, okay. I don't know. I met him a few times. There's a negative story with him, but I'll wait for one day to tell that. But yeah, so I go out to LA with this script, and they're like, hey, we really like this. We want to put you in a writer's room and stuff like that. And I wrote this was a zombie script before like the zombie shit had like hit again. So I invited. I'm not a filmmaker at all. I'm if anything, I'd be a shooter. That I have a rant coming up for that too about how what's that guy Struckman won't review a movie, but not in the like no review I refuse kind of way that James Rolfe did it. If you want to be I'm going to save it. If you want to be a filmmaker, but you also want to be a movie reviewer, you kind of can't play in both fields. And anyway, why would you even want to be involved with Hollywood anymore? If you're not Quentin Tarantino or Steven Spielberg or Darren Aronofsky, somebody with fucking clout, you're just a shooter. You're just there to do what the studio wants, make the schedule. You're not actually a filmmaker. So I'll put that review up another time, or that rant up another time. Um, I'll catch up. What's up, everybody? Hey, what's going on, man? So the guy who didn't want to review Madam Web, yeah, and here's the thing, I only discovered that Struckman guy because I was trying to beat him to the review of Night Killer. And I pitched it a million times to Ryan and Justin and Kieran and Tony, and then they would tell James later about it. Uh, you know, and I was like, look, this thing is going to be like the next Room. I got a free Vinegar Syndrome screener of it from my buddy Eric from MVD. This movie's fucking crazy. We got to get to it. We got to get to it. And then the Struckman guy did it, and then that got known from that, and then they used it as the very last rental review episode, and then they blamed me for killing the channel, and I was just like, what? So that was the only thing I knew about the Struckman guy, and then apparently he had like the highest like Indiegogo to make a movie or something like that. So I understand, wanting to move away from that kind of content creation and be accepted by Hollywood and all that kind of stuff. And there's really like there's no more like back in the old days. There's no more like Gene Shalit and Siskel and Ebert and people like that anymore. This movie reviewers don't exist anymore. It's always this biased thing because they want to be part of the cool kid crowd. They want to get invited to the screeners. They want to get the free shit from the studios and stuff like that. They want to kiss ass because they have a movie coming out or something like that. Or you have the movie reviewers who are the guys who think that they're funnier and more clever than the let's see. Good to see no Mets tonight. Pizza lounge around the area, man. No, Mets is up at training tonight. I just came on because I was on the phone. I was talking to Fallon for a while, and I was like, I'm gonna pop on and see what people are up to. But yeah, so the other movie reviewers are like the dudes who like they're not actually watching the movie to be engaged in a story. They're there poking holes in it, or they're there to prove how clever they are. I just watched a video from that Saber Spark guy. I don't know anything about anime, so I don't really know. But no, Brad, people who do older shit are fine because it's something that's already been out there for a while. They're not trying to rose color anything. I wish I got big boobed goth chicks, man. That would be amazing. But yeah, it's people who are just trying to prove how clever they are or hate watching things, and they're not actually reviewing the movie. They're just there to prove how clever they are. And what do you mean you haven't hired me to write something or whatever? Yeah, and that's the what kind of name is Snitsky? I don't know. Have you ever seen Has Been Hotel? I thought it was cool. No, I don't know what that is. Um, yeah, so I was watching this dude's thing about hate watching, and it just made me realize, like, when it comes to reviewing new movies, I have easy access to stuff because I have a movie theater at my disposal. But for the most part, like, I just kind of there's nothing I can say that isn't going to be said better by someone else, someone who has a bigger platform or more of a knowledge about filmmaking and the industry and stuff like that. So when it comes to guys like, like Brad Jones, even though Brad doesn't talk to me anymore, I really, really genuinely love his reviews. Hey, what's going on, Sebastian? It's the animated show. His plot was on YouTube. Oh, wait, yes, okay. I do know what Has Been Hotel is because the company I used to work for claims that that show stole their idea because my friend, who's a casting person out there, had lunch with them one time, and I guess they told him about it. So apparently, it's like everyone in Hollywood knows each other and just tells people random ideas that people from Pennsylvania told them at a lunch one day, and they did not let that go for the 2 years that I worked there. That they stole his idea. So when I was fired from there, I told him, he's like, these people are fucking crazy, and their pitch sucked. But no, people like Brad, or people like I like the that Canadian guy. Go to see Dune 2. Yeah, I think next Wednesday it comes out. I'll check, or next Thursday. We'll hopefully watch it on Wednesday or on Thursday. Where when are you gonna remake Kentucky Fried Movie? I kind of have. I Midnight Show It's been done for years, but I have to reshoot big chunks of it because I have to take out everything that Justin, Crystal, Tony, Kieran, and all those guys were a part of because they said they'd sue me if I didn't. So I had to take all that out. Are you gonna get a Death to Fleshlight cup? I should. Love you. Love you too, Horn Dog. You ever see Red Cow Arcade? They're a bit immature. No, my buddy works with them, and thank you. I love the coin slots promo. No, I don't watch the Red Cow guys. My buddy said that they'd love to talk to me because he worked with them on stuff, but I have no interest in that, and I don't need to go back down that road. But no, what was I saying? That there's the Canadian guy. I don't know his name. I like his reviews, and I like the weird movie movies with Mark or something like that. I like the movie timelines guy. Those are like movie reviewers who I like, who their tastes in weird old shit is more in line with my taste in weird old shit. But going back to the story that we were telling before, all right, man, have a good one, Professor Macabre, everybody. The man, the myth, the legend. Brandon Tenold, yes. Oh, thank you, Winterfeld. Yes, Brendan Tenold. I like his shit a lot. I discovered him. I did enjoy the song that you wrote for me. I actually showed it to Fallon that you wrote me a song. Um, yeah, I discovered that dude. I discovered that dude, the movie Timelines guy, because he's originally from Monroeville, Pennsylvania. And when I was there doing the con, somebody asked me if I knew of his channel. So I looked it up, and then I kind of fucking fell down the rabbit hole. And I really like his stuff. I'll put like some of those guys, even Brad. I'll put a lot of his old like playlists on and just fall asleep with his stuff on. I know. Okay, I gotta get back to the Jason Mewes story. So I get out to LA, and we're at Dimension Films at the time before it finally became Weinstein Company. And they said, "Do you have anybody who you want to come and work with this thing?" Ever see Dennis Hopper's Out of the Blue? No, I have not. On the old show, you said you had a story you weren't allowed to talk about involving the movie Pearl Harbor. I'll tell that story next. Actually, no. I did tell that story, but anytime I said I can't tell a story, it was because he wanted me to save it for the Patreon. I never made any money off the Patreon, so I just stopped telling those stories altogether because I got tired of getting fucked, But I'll tell them here because who fucking cares? We're all friends here. Metz is razzling tonight. Metz and I were talking a little bit earlier today. I think Metz is going to come by Thursday to hang out out of the blue and into the black. So I get to LA, go back to this, and they're like, "Do you have anybody on your writing team that you want to bring out?" So I was like, "Yeah, fuck." So I brought out this guy, Kevin, and I brought his friend from school out. His friend's aunt is Meredith from The Office. And so they're out here with me, and they start going to the bars at night when I'm back at the little bungalow that they got us, which was a really fucking cool place. I was engaged at the time, so I couldn't go have fun. So I'm lining up who we're gonna make these pitches to and stuff like that. And one of the people who I wanted to make a pitch to was Corey Feldman, because at that time, Ain't It Cool News had posted a thing about Ain't It Cool News. That's how old it is. Had posted a thing about Quentin Tarantino talking about a Friday the 13th script that he wanted to write that would have brought Tommy back, and he thought it'd be cool to have Tarantino to have Corey Feldman. So I reached out and I was like, "Well, could we get Corey Feldman?" And they're like, "Can't get Corey Feldman, I can get you Corey Haim." And I was like, "All right, let's get Corey Haim." I don't know where Harry Knowles is these days. There's a new nutrition. Yeah, I was just trying this out, so I posted that before I started streaming. So they got me Corey Haim, and then Jay Mewes was still super fucked up on heroin at the time, and Corey Haim knew Jay Mewes, so those two were hanging out, and then my buddy Kevin started hanging out with them, and we went to I want to be. It's their loss, so it's finished. I think it's gonna be great. Yeah, and I got a vote of confidence on Midnight Show the other day. The producer of it was like, don't put too much content out there from it because we're gonna reshoot all that shit and make it better. And I think Madeline's gonna fill in for the Crystal part for Gorilla. for the last one we have to shoot, and then I'll get another suit and stuff like that. Um, I know the guy who sold weed to the two Corys. Yeah. So we're out there, and the Kevin and those guys are out getting in trouble and stuff like that. We had a meeting with Don the Bishop Magic Wand, D. Snyder, Dolomite, and Corey Feldman all on the same day. It was an interesting experience for me to be, a small fish in a big pond. So eventually what happens out there is a long way of saying that those guys were partying too much and it got us sent home. I had nothing to do with it, but it got us sent home. So I went from thinking, holy shit, like I'm this fucking dude who doesn't believe in grammar, to sitting in this room with like producers who would go on to do the Rob Zombie Halloween, would go on to do the Prom Night remake and all that kind of shit. Like this was when the remake stuff was getting popular again. So we all get sent home. Kevin and I have this big disagreement. So he goes to work with that Schnitsky guy and the Armageddon Ed guy, and they're gonna bring Jason Mewes and Corey Haim out together. But then they also get the kid who played Squints in The Sandlot, who I had just put a line. Something he said to me, I just put into the script that Brian Wilde shot for Amityville versus the Galactic Samurai Schoolgirls. We were out at this restaurant, and some dude stepped on his shoes, and Squints from The Sandlot goes, "If this was Cali, it'd have been Pop Pop Street." And I was like, dude, I'm taller than you, you know? So those guys are all hanging out, and they're trying to make shit, and they were trying to make this thing called Terror at 10 Acres, I think it was called. And it was really embarrassing and stupid looking. And this is around the time now when I'm doing Underbelly. So there was this kind of like, this almost like rivalry between his crew and my crew. But eventually we said, hey, we're going to be guests at Monster Mania, which is this horror convention. We're going to go around and interview people. And Kevin was like, dude, let's get together. Let's have a drink and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, great. So basically what Kevin wanted me to do was babysit Jay Mewes and Corey Haim, because they were both so fucked up on drugs that they were like messing shit up. So this hotel where the thing was directly across the highway from a Best Buy, when Best Buy used to have like physical fucking media and stuff like that. So he's like, can you take those dudes over to Best Buy? They want to get some video games and DVDs and shit for the suite that they're in. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So it was like, this is basically the whole way of saying this is like, was like wrangling drug addict cats, because they both were like, Jason Mewes was like sucking on like lemon heads, I think they were called. They're like these little like lemon flavored sour candy, and he kept like spitting them like between his legs in the back seat. And this was a rental car that I was driving. It was an Impala at the time, because somebody had hit my car. It was getting worked on. So he's leaving like stains in the back seat. Corey Haim is like rolling the window up and down. It's winter time, blasting the music as we turn into the thing. He tries to jerk the wheel from me one time. They're both telling me I'm no fun. We get into the thing, and then they just go fucking like, they just go missing, like into Best Buy. I have no idea where they are. All right, I got a flip phone at this point, and I'm just like, dude, I don't know where your fucking friends are, but like this is bad. So Corey Haim tried to shoplift. And then the people at Best Buy were like, holy shit, fucking Lucas is trying to shoplift from us. So they took a picture with him and let him go. Yes, it was babysitting. That's exactly what it was. And that's why he had me go with them, because he knew that they were going to be a fucking chaos incarnate. So finally we get them their fucking things. Corey Haim, who's a movie star. Dude's been in a million movies, okay? He's dead now, but so he's $14 short for these fucking things he wants to buy. So I have to give this dude $14. I get them back in the car. I get them back to the fucking hotel. As soon as I park the car, they vanish. All right? They know, thanks for the ride, lady, nothing. Just gone into the fucking thing. And like for the rest of the weekend, Kevin's like, oh man, yeah, thanks for doing that. And I'm just like, I know why I did it. Like, I know that you didn't want to be fucking on the hook for this stuff. So, but then like 2 weeks later, Corey Haim dies. So the moral of the story is Corey Haim went to the grave owing me $14. Um, and what was the other one? Oh, the Pearl Harbor story. So yeah, so when Pearl Harbor came out, I was a junior in high school, I think it was, or senior in high school. I don't remember. And I had just learned projection. At least he didn't try to take them to rehab. No, I tried to take my ex-girlfriend's sister to rehab and got curb stomped in Delaware. I think I told that story before. She figured out where we were going. And as soon as I stopped at a light, she took off into an Arby's parking lot. I chased after her, and these fucking dudes thought that I was kidnapping this girl, and they fucking knocked me to the ground and fucking like held me there and were like kicking me and shit like that until we could finally get somebody to, explain what was going on. Yeah, that's, that happened. I got a black eye, a fucking busted up lip, by my former best friend's sister making a run for it when I tried to get her into rehab. Yeah, okay, I don't remember what story I told, but yeah, the Ben Affleck Pearl Harbor. Um, I was just trained by this guy named Gennady, who was like this elderly Russian Yoda of projectionists, and he taught me everything I needed to know about film. And he's like, "You're ready," and he let me kind of go and do my own thing for once. And it was when Pearl Harbor was out. I think it was in its like last week. Oh, thank you, Winterfell. Yeah. So it's 11:98. We're almost at what Corey Feldman or Corey Haim owed me. Is Fallon still hot? Yes, Fallon is never not gonna be hot. I should make a movie of your life. Nah, bro is training you in Dagobah. Yeah, I was wearing this elderly Russian guy in a backpack, and we were doing flips and stuff like that. Um, I've got stories, but they're always at my expense. There's never like a, and then I woke up, between two beautiful women, and there was a big fucking pile of money at the end of the bed, and a puppy, and it was sunshine outside. Like I never get those stories. I tried to do a good thing by getting my ex-girlfriend, my ex-best friend's sister into rehab, and instead I got fucking beaten up in an Arby's parking lot in Delaware. The home of tax-free shopping. Um, I believe it was on the Evil Dead remake. Okay. Do you think Salt Bay is an industry plant? Could it be Sugar Bay? I don't know what that means. I'm old and out of touch. But yeah, so Pearl Harbor. All right. No, dude, if somebody did that, when I lived, I'll go on a quick side story real quick. So when I lived down the Jersey Shore, I ran the Franks Theater in Stone Harbor, New Jersey, 2007, 2008, 2009, and some of 2010, but then Underbelly happened, so I moved away. Favorite Turkish movie? Um, hmm, I don't know. They're all wonderful. I love that they don't believe in copyright laws, I wouldn't get in trouble for plagiarism there. But yeah, so I lived down the Jersey Shore. I worked every fucking day. That's when my urethra collapse story came from and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't have to get up the next morning. I got to sleep. I've been waiting for this day, for so fucking long. There was a certain redhead who was coming down to visit me and stuff like that. And then I get a phone call on my flip phone. And uh, okay, I'm a walking fucking brown eye, man. At least we're not Bob Kane. No, I'm like more of a Bill Finger. I get fucked. Maybe I'll be appreciated when I'm dead. Um, so I get a phone call and it's like, hey, so when you thread the movie up, what side is the soundtrack supposed to be? And I said, well, the soundtrack's supposed to be on the inside, not facing out. And he's like, oh, especially when you had a dirty. That was 15 years, man. I could tell a funny story about her, but I'm not going to. Um, so he threaded all 12 projectors backwards. So I had to go up there on my day off and cut all the film and then rethread every film through the projector the correct way, because if you did it the wrong way, you would see you would see the squiggly purple line on the thing and tell it. Okay, so sapphire, that's another precious stone, right? Um, Yeah, so it was a mess. So that's my loading the projectors upside down thing. We also had a guy. We also had a guy one time. You're supposed to when the film was a when they were like on platters, because you'd have reel to reel or you'd have a platter system, and most of like the multiplex theaters had platters. And if you were going to move one from one theater to another, you put these movers on them, which are these clamps. You tighten it down, and then you slide it and you move it. This guy that I used to work with, he was too big to fit through certain doors, so we could only enter the projection booth in certain places. Um, but yeah, he thought he would be cool for this girl who worked there, and he went to toss the film over his shoulder and missed, and it hit the ground and went fucking everywhere. Yeah, if you can't do it, fuck it. When life gives you lemons, say fuck it and bail. But yeah, so he threw this film on the ground, and it was a nightmare, and it was the Beyonce movie where like her husband was like cheating on her with Ali Larter. It's all I remember about that. But going back to Pearl Harbor, a date that will live in infamy. Um, Bro thought he was a giga. Yeah, he did. And the girl who, and this was like in that weird period where you didn't really think about it. But this dude was like 54 years old, and this girl was like 15, and he was like really interested in her. And I remember him telling us that. And the funny part was when we were, I think I told this story in the Dawn of the Dead review. His name is the same name as a character in that movie, and they say that character's name. And I stopped and was like, what the fuck? Um, wasn't Beyonce in some gospels? I don't know. Yes, he did. Josh Hartnett. He was a thing for a while. Actually, he was really good in Oppenheimer. But I think like the last thing I saw him in it, but after that, before that was like Hollywood Homicide with Harrison Ford. Yeah, but so this dude, he told this character, this large man, that at Regal we had to wear black dress coats, dress shirts, ties, all that kind of stuff. He couldn't find a black coat that was in his size, so he had this green one. So he looks like the fattest man to ever win a golf championship. But he told us one time that he didn't have a door on his room because his mom thought that he was doing stuff in there. And I was like, "You're 52 years old." And I was looking and I was like, "God, I hope I never get that guy." He was a hard. Yes, he was. Chris Klein. You ever see the Chris Klein outtakes or his audition for Mamma Mia, where he can't sing and it's really embarrassing? But okay, Pearl Harbor. God, we keep getting sidetracked. So I'm just learning projection, and they had me by myself on a Thursday, and in the booth, you know, where you have the projector, and there'd be a portal window that you lift up. So when you start the projector, you stick your head out, you make sure it sounds okay, you make sure it looks okay, you adjust your framing, all that kind of stuff. So it's like the last week that Pearl Harbor's in theaters, and I go and I check, I going around, I'm checking all the different theaters, and I see a guy like sitting back like this, and I see something moving, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I go and look, and I'm like, holy shit, this dude's getting blown by this other dude while watching Pearl Harbor. So I go and I tell the other ushers and stuff like that. So now everyone's upstairs in the projection booth watching this guy get blown. You got to remember, I'm like 17 at the time. This is like 2000, so it's before we were more socially conscious. But we lifted the portal window, and all of us at the same time were like dropping bombs, because there used to be this like porn star when he would come would yell dropping bombs, and I thought that worked well with the idea of, you know, this movie about, you know, bombs being dropped and the sneak attack from the Japanese. So that's my Pearl Harbor story. He looks like John Hamm's stunt double. All right, Peter North. I don't think it was Peter North. I've actually met Peter North one time at a trade show we were guests of, and he was. Did you finish? I didn't finish. There was too many people around. Kind of threw off my stroke. But yeah, yeah, Jesse Jane died, and then the other one died yesterday. The other one I worked with, Cagney Carter, was another adult actress that I worked with on something, and she passed away. He's thinking of one of the fallen soldiers. Yeah, you know. Everybody knows that Cuba Gooding Jr. was the best part of that movie. Yeah, Cagney Lane Carter. Thank you, thank you. Um, Saw Pearl Harbor at the Surf in Ocean City, Maryland. Oh, cool. Man, if only I had a version of Moby Dick. But yeah, so you've now given me more money than what Corey Haim gave me, so his spirit can finally rest. Uh, yeah, no, I used to for a little bit I was doing some post work and some set work stuff on some adult things because Tommy Gunn is from my kind of my hometown in South Jersey, and he went to high school with my friend Eric. So I was introduced to him, and he needed some people to do some set stuff and all. So I kind of coordinated some of that. But I got to meet like a couple adult film actresses, and then I was friendly with Ron Jeremy for a while as well, until like he got like super canceled. Um, yeah, I saw that. That's sad, man. He he's like in his 50s too, you know. But he's a super cool guy. I promised him as soon as I get something together, I'm gonna cast him in a mainstream role. I remember reading the script for that werewolf movie he did way before he did that one. Um, but yeah, so you know that's my connections to the adult film world and dudes getting blown while watching Pearl Harbor and me getting beaten up in an Arby's parking lot and me getting sent home from California and having to be babysitter to drug addicts and you know this is my life. Holy shit! Whoa, fuck. Mental health is no fucking joke, man. Like again, people when I was dealing with all my stuff and you know the Cinemassacre Truth people were making fun of me and people I used to be friends with were saying that I don't have the balls to kill myself and all that kind of stuff and making fun of my failed attempts. Um, it's not fun, you know. My ex Christy is a licensed therapist. Um, I don't think they're all sleaze bags, you know. You know, it's a job. It's sex work is work, you know. If I was better looking and lasted longer, I would totally try it. Uh, but you know, it's sad that like you know, uh, Metz and I were listening to that album on the way back from Ohio because I had not listened to American Idiot in so fucking long. My buddy Sanj was a producer on the Broadway show. Do I still hate Jurassic World? Yeah, I only saw the scene that they showed me that they filmed. It was funny. The dude who's in that episode, his friend who's the dinosaur guy, I thought we were cool, and I went to go look him up the other day, and I realized he blocked me as well. I was like, "Whoa, all right, that makes sense." Um, but yeah, no, I that movie I'd only seen bits and pieces of it. And I have an irrational hatred for the second one only because of all the gear and building problems that we had when that second movie was out. So I'm like, fuck these Jurassic movies. Have you seen American Fiction? No, I didn't. I didn't book it because I had to keep Wonka, so I didn't get a chance to see it yet. I didn't get a chance to see Poor Things yet, or any of that. There's like so, or Lisa Frankenstein. There's so many movies I want to see. I just have not had the time and the extra resources right now because as we started this off, I'm paying for some medical shit right now. Went today for second opinion, and my hope is that it's not what we think it is. If it is what we think it is, we'll deal with it if it comes. If not, it's fine. It was pretty good. The ending sucks. All right, but I still want to see it. I finally saw Strays. I finally saw Saltburn. I did a review of that one. It's kind of as stuff hits Amazon. I've been watching it, but I don't know. I was telling one of my employees the other day. I was like, "Yeah, I watched like a couple movies, medical stuff. I'm sorry about that. Hope you're okay." Me too. They gave me a prescription. We'll see what happens. Uh, I'm hoping it's not this again, but we'll find out. Um, yeah, what else can I talk about for you? What other stories did I not tell that I can tell? um, see, I get sidetracked too much, and then it's trying to find a way to parlay yourself back into the story in a way that doesn't feel completely alien, and I'm not that good a storyteller to be able to do that. I should talk about I Spy with Owen Wilson, Eddie Murphy. It's a schlocky movie. I remember the show, but I've never seen the movie. But I remember when the movie was out. Um, oh, dude, thank you. That's so nice. That's I don't know. People don't have to give me money, you know. Opinions on True Romance, my top 10. Yes, 100%. Are you still friends with the people from Underbelly? The only one who still talks to me from Underbelly is Frank. Frank works for Nickelodeon now as an animator. He's got two kids. He's been married for years. He seems very, very happy. He's the only one who I still have any connection to from that group of people. Yeah. Any other wild? Oh, dude, I got so many fucking wild theater stories. Newt, you see the X-Men silliness? People are just. Oh, the people are mad that Morph is like able to morph. It's gender fluid. I don't fucking care. I don't care. If you haven't realized that X-Men is about equality and the fight against inequality, well, you're not doing it right. I think the bank is going to question me. Order cards so often are going to. No, that's not good. I had my bank card eaten by the ATM machine like 2 weeks ago, and it was a fucking nightmare because I had taken the money we had gotten. Oh, it was right after the ShermaCon thing. A bunch of people, which they never do, paid for the comic in cash. So I just had a bunch of cash in my pocket, and I was like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna go hit the ATM. And it's like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I put the card in, and it fucking eats my card, and I'm like, oh no, you know? X-Men literally has always been an inclusion. I agree with the rogue lack of thickness. Also, the animation doesn't look as detailed, but like there's a shot in the thing where Gambit's fucking powering up Wolverine's claws. I'm like, come on, dude, that's fucking awesome, you know? I do have to go back and rewatch the 92 series because I was so, like, as a kid my age, X-Men was so fucking huge. Drillbit Taylor, I remember that one when it was out, but I never saw it. It did tell me to feed it a stray cat, and I was like, this machine called me an asshole. Um, I do remember when OJ wrote "If I Did It." You can't jack it to cartoons anymore. There's so many other cartoons you can jack it to, you know. But yeah, no, it's like people who didn't like on the right who didn't realize that like Rage Against the Machine was not a right wing band. It's like, where have you been? You know. We need a Gambit movie. I think Channing Tatum is playing Gambit in Deadpool 3, and Taylor Swift is playing Dazzler in it, from what I was told. Um, I mean, look, Rogue was one of my favorites when I was a kid. She was definitely I think it was the accent and all that kind of stuff. They definitely like minimized her when it was Anna Paquin, and they made her like more demure and all that kind of stuff, which I think like is kind of a bit counteractive to what they should have been doing with the second and third movie, where she's coming into her own, and the fact that she can't touch you or you can't touch her should have been a more present part of the second and third movie, especially when she gets rid of her powers in the third movie. But whatever. New Fantastic Four casting. Favorite Harry Nilsson song? That's a good question. I think my favorite Harry Nilsson song is probably from the Popeye soundtrack. I think it's He Needs Me. Or Jump Into the Fire is a great song too. Let's see. Bring back sexuality. I agree. Bring back sexy stuff to comic books. It can't live up to the hype. I don't think it will. I'm gonna sneeze. And I'm back. I think that I don't know. And plus a lot of the voices that it's the original voices, but everyone sounds older. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I'm not really worried about Morph being gender fluid. I forgot that Morph came back because Morph died in the first episode. In like Night of the Sentinels, I think it was. And I forgot they even brought Morph back. They should have done though the fact that you know, Mystique being a dude, I think that would have pissed off more people. Um, they could be destroyed so easily. Yeah, fastball special, right? Wasn't that when Colossus would throw Wolverine? But I grew up like, you know, I loved all the X books in the late 80s, early 90s. I loved, you know, Excalibur, the video game, the cartoon, like all that shit. X-Men was so fucking popular. A couple years ago, I had 10 hours. No. Casting couches are cancelable, will not in porn. Explain it. Well, I think if you're going in under the impression that let us fuck, it's a completely different thing. Whereas if you're being, if you're, I'm here to be an actress in an action movie or a comedy. Well, there's no reason to fuck, you know, and that's just predatory. And I hate when people would like. I had that a lot too after all the Screenwave shit. It's like, oh well, I bet you he was like predatory and stuff like that because even Ryan's sister was like, we thought you'd get me too'd, despite the fact that everybody on all my crews is ex-girlfriends, like way ex-girlfriends that are still really good friends with me, who I've never been inappropriate with. I've always been nothing but fucking, Metz will tell you, I'm always like so nervous about, people on set being comfortable and all this kind of shit, especially when you have girls like in bathing suits or whatever. And I'm always like so overcautious to make sure that everybody's comfortable. And especially in the Me Too era, then it became like a thing in my head of like, fuck, people are gonna think because of the things I write, that's who I am and what I am. But I was like, wait a minute, like, why would these women be around for 15, 20 years in my life if they thought that I was that way? Just because I like writing sleazy shit. Anything, if anybody actually knew my work, the sleazy shit is a cover for fucking the feminism of it all. It's just saying dudes are fucking horny retards, okay? And sexy ladies can get one over on them and use that as power. And if you're gonna do a rape revenge story or a female revenge movie, that's a good way to do it. You use a woman, their sexuality like a Venus flytrap. You lure in these fucking predators and then they get snapped up. And that's kind of all the scripts that I write that have strong female characters, Yeah, yeah, they were saying that I was bringing girls back to the office, um, you know, which was fucking hilarious, considering that, they were either married or gay, and teeth too. Yeah, no, that was one of those things is like, I didn't want to bring certain people. Like, here's another thing, like the ones who are married or have girlfriends and stuff like that, like, would you rather your girlfriend or wife hang out at an office where there's security cameras or at a fucking dude who looks like me's apartment? I thought I was doing the smart thing and putting it in a place where we have a paper trail so that everybody's good, but apparently I'm wrong when you need to quickly switch the script around and make me the bad guy, Whatever, But remember, I also got a $14 haircut, Even if you're wearing it was exactly. And there was never I would hate myself if I ever, did anything inappropriate with anyone. Teeth to the other end. Oh no. That'll get analyzed. Would I review The Society? Yeah, I haven't seen The Society in a long time. Effects by Screaming Mad George, directed by Brian Usna. Brian Usna is doing, but I've been wanting the question, if you don't mind, what's the story of your first completed script? Actually, I think I have it right here. Yeah. Die Laughing. By me. Justin did a rewrite with me. I started it on October 23rd, my birthday, 2005. Not really. It was actually started in 2003. And then the version that we brought to LA was in 2004. And then the last one I did was in 2008. I don't know. It, Yeah, it's 112 pages for a zombie comedy. So, and then I found the last. Oh, this is funny. I found the last ever schedule I made for the comic book store before we went out of business. I don't know why that's in here. Um, yeah, I have a copy of pretty much every script I've ever written, but this was the first one that I ever pitched anywhere. So I keep a copy of it. Uh, and this was essentially, it starts out as like a John Hughes high school movie where a bunch of kids on detention have to go and work like this event, and then it becomes a Lucio Fulci zombie movie right after that. So the tones shift quickly in the middle of it. And rereading it, I reread it. I actually know Metz reread it before I moved last, and didn't get a bunch of the references. And I was like, "Fuck that!" Some of that stuff I wrote that like at the height of the George W. Bush era, and there's just some things in there that just would not read today. Um, you know, if you could cast any actor or actress, who would it be and why? Um, how are you, Newt? By the way, oh, I missed what you said there. Let me pull that back up. By the way, saw some love. Oh, okay, saw One Love. Yeah, I saw One Love last night. I liked it. The narrative is weak, but I thought the acting was really well done. Um, well, yeah, no, Nick Cage would definitely be the actor who I would want to work with. When it comes to actresses, I don't know. There's a few actresses that I've loved since I was a little kid. I'd love to cast Diane Franklin in something. I'd love to cast Lynn Lowry in something. I'd love to write her a role. Unlike a lot of like the Z-list movie stuff she's doing now. Do you have any theories that connect films? Nothing to do with each other. Um, I don't know. I was joking earlier. My friend Jeanette just did a car commercial in Philadelphia, and her name is Carol Ann in it. So in my head canon, that's Carol Ann from the Poltergeist movies who grew up. Yeah, Jeanette, if you had the Patreon from the old show that I was on, she was the male girl in a couple of them. She's really pretty. I'm working on your memoir still. Cool, man. Would be awesome. Totally gets that she was a dream for us. Yeah, she's beautiful. And they're doing a lot of like I see a lot of like these B movie actors who pop up in a lot of shit. They're like, you know, low grade stuff. And I'd love to kind of give them something meaty where they could actually like act. And that's a dream of mine is to give somebody like a B movie role where it's like an actual part in a movie, and not just like, oh, you're the witch and you're gonna film you on green screen and shoot all your scenes in one day and there you go, you're done. But I don't have that kind of money right now to do those kind of things. It's whatever I can put together out of my own pocket. Who was that hot Asian girl that worked on AVGN? Um, oh, she was Xander's friend. I had to fire her. I don't remember her name. Um, well, I was told to fire her, and then another one that after she was fired, they turned it around and said that I did it, even though they told me to. Um, but yeah, I don't remember her name. Because once everybody kind of split for COVID, I kind of lost track of people. But I had to check in with them every day. Um, yeah, I don't know. But no, if I can get some fucking funding together on something, man, I got scripts out to other people that are just like they're just kind of sitting right now. Like Vampire is just kind of sitting right now. And I understand why the effects guy that they had passed away over Christmas. Um, the guys who bought the Mars vs. Cheerleaders script, it's kind of sitting right now because they're trying to get all their streaming stuff together for the New Village Video stuff. So I understand that. We started putting Amityville Arcade together, and then we had an angel investor, but then he had some health problems, and I don't know if that's gonna happen now. So yeah, no, trust me. I was hanging out with their former lawyer is still a friend of mine. Um, Make something with Lauren Phillips. She was in Philly recently because I messaged her manager. because at the time I still thought that I had some funding together on something, and I want her to come play the DJ, like the Stevie Wayne from the Fog type DJ in Amityville Halloween, because I wrote this very like pouty lipped, you see her from like here to here for some of the stuff until it gets broader. And yeah, so it never heard back. So I don't know, but I don't have the funding for it right now anyway. But if I did, I'd also considered like if I could maybe grab Darcy the mail girl. I don't care what that costs us if we can put the money together. I think that would be worth it because she's always been super sweet to us. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I want to be making stuff so badly. But I was saying, oh, so their former lawyer is my friend. I got him the job over there. They fired him. And he had me go serve someone papers today. So that was my morning job, was to go serve someone papers for him. So that wasn't awkward or weird at all. But yeah. So but he told me stories about shit that went on there. Was Darcy? Oh, yeah, she did porn before she was involved with Joe Bob. But even after the porn stuff, she had done like Frankenstein created bikers and stuff like that. So she's been in the horror scene for a while. And I think that the average side, it's always something with me. I'm always suckered into something. Um, but yeah, just if I could get the funding together on something, it would be good to have people who could also help sell a movie because they have their own followings that would come onto it. Um, and that's kind of part of what I've been trying to put together. There's only so much I can get from like favors from people and stuff like that. Like I wrote 8-Bit Eric apart because I thought he was fucking fantastic in the Game Chaser movie, and I was like, you should be acting more and stuff. So I've written him a couple parts, and he's always bouncing movies ideas off me on Facebook and stuff like that. And I'd love to be able to afford to hire him because I think he has a great following as well, but I think he's also really good on camera. So I think that would be something good. And there's some other friends of mine who, have a little bit of clout who said they would do stuff, but I want to do it where like, I need to build another deck for funding. Yeah, I should go build another deck for funding. Uh, uh, Serving papers. Any stories you could tell? No, I can't talk anymore about that. But basically, there was two envelopes, and I have to approach the person, say, "Are you this person?" and then serve them separately the two papers, and then walk away so that it could go to their lawyer. And it's not the first time I've had to do that, but I was up and about today, and I was kind of nervous about my doctor's appointment today because it could be a lot. And when he asked me if I wanted to do this, I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll do it because it'll take my mind off of the other shit for a little bit. Um, no, I never got any extra money for building a deck, uh, or dropping off slat flooring, or getting guns out of a house, or going to pick up illegal Chinese dirt bikes and shit like that. Who's my favorite porn star? I guess of all time, it would probably be Chrissy Canyons. She was like the first one that I remember as a kid, like knowing her name. And I've worked with Ginger Lynn on something before, and she was very nice. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's funny. Like the 80s and 90s. Uh, Wait a minute. You're a process server? No, just today I was a process server. Because it's always an adventure. I don't know why people wouldn't want to be my friends. It's fun sometimes. When it's not depressing and existentially crushing, it's a fucking good time. um, yeah, it's funny. Like the 80s and the 90s ones, I knew their name. Nowadays, I don't fucking know anybody's name. Yeah, she was cool. I met her at with Ron Jeremy actually, and then it was we the redhead and I reviewed three adult movies that Wood Rocket did because of April O'Neil. And yeah, yeah, of course I've seen Slime City. That director is friends with me on Facebook actually, because he also did Killer Rack not too long ago. Babe Watch 6. You have to watch the other five. You're not going to know what's going on. It's like the Harry Potter series. Yeah, we used to have when I was a little when my parents first got divorced, where we moved to, we had a satellite dish. So we didn't have the scrambled channels. We had like the channel channels, and I was like a kid, and I got a fucking life lessons. What would be your porn name? Um, Sirloin, uh, Muscles Marinara would be a good. No, Muscles Marinara would be mine. I'm gonna adopt the Italian lifestyle, and as I fuck, I go like this. Splooge McFuck would be a good one. Um, I was always used to be coming up with like gay porn names for people and stuff like that, but yeah, Tristan Fun with two N's. Um, I was talking to an ex of mine this morning about how we would revolutionize porn if we teamed up because she wants to do feminist porn, and I was like, let's do feminist furry porn, and fucking nobody's touched that angle yet. I said, we don't have to be in it, but we'll write and produce it and make a fucking $1 billion, and then I don't have to live here anymore with a screaming crazy person outside. But, probably not going to happen. Much like all of my ideas, not going to happen. But yeah, I keep a big stack of my scripts and shit like that in boxes, and also I showed somebody. I got my porn name from a yogurt packet. Creamy Goodness, nice. Your porn name would be Stretch Marks, I like that. I have all of my. I was showing someone the other day. I have all of my clippings of every time I've ever been in a newspaper or something like that, and I have like a stack of like articles about me and shit like that. And they're like, "Why do you keep all these?" I was like, "I don't know, because I like attention." But that's what she gets for going through my shit and being like, "Why do you have all these old newspapers?" I was like, "They don't have old newspapers. These are old newspapers about me." But I don't really have. I got rid of like everything else. I just have like shit that like doesn't matter anymore. Nuke Tour, I like it. Rock Harders. All of mine would be short films, so it doesn't really matter. Uh, I don't know, and it's funny because again, working on adult sets, it's not at all what you expect. It's just people who've like, it's like the people who work at McDonald's. They're not interested in it anymore. They're just like, all right, come on, let's get this going. And I figured it'd be hard to perform in front of people. I've only been in the room with a couple people when things are going down. Can't imagine like an entire fucking crew, and then your job is to perform. Um, but I'm not worried about that. That's never going to happen to me. So it's not anything I need to worry about. What do we got coming up? What do we got coming up? Oh, Friday. If any of you are watching this are in the Pennsylvania area, I'm going to be at the. We need a theme song for this channel. Your ex now has her own production company, CCQ. Is that true? Huh. I did not know that she had her own production company now. But yeah, Friday night, if you're in the Philadelphia, PA, Jersey area, I'm going to be at the Neshaminy Creek Brewing Company. I'm a guest of Tapes from the Crypt. Any OnlyFans stuff? No, I haven't posted anything on OnlyFans in a while. Metz and I were going to do some reviews, but then it's just like it becomes impossible to do that. But I have been doing stuff for the Patreon. Create theme for Schlock And Awe. Can't get any worse, right? No, it's not. It's not. Doesn't start with a C. It starts with an N. And Q isn't her last name anyway. So, yeah. So if you're around and you want to come hang out, we'll be showing some midnight show stuff in the pre-show at this Tapes from the Crypt thing at 7 o'clock at night on Friday night at the Neshaminy Creek Brewing Company. I think Fallon's coming with me. So the two of us will be there. It was going to be another ex of mine. One of them's an old friend of mine's sister, but she can't make it now. So that'd have been funny. But no, so if you're around, we'll be at that. I got invited to a con this summer in Kentucky. Ghoulie Con, I think it's called. Got invited to a con in Atlantic City this July. So we got some stuff. Switch the Patreon to OnlyFans. Can you do nudity on Patreon? I didn't look into it. I was just like, I got some shit I could post here and see if I can make a couple bucks. Um, because I never wanted. I don't like. Again, I don't like e-begging. But I got some bills coming up, and I'm trying to make some money, and I might have a health issue. So I'm in a very weird kind of moral crossroads right now when it comes to a lot of stuff. No nudity on Patreon. Okay. All right. Well, sorry. Um, there's only whenever I put stuff on OnlyFans, there's three dudes who love pictures of my dick. So I got that going for me. My stuff is not as produced as Fallon's is, or Madeline's. Um, but that's just me. Um, let's shoot that porn for quick money. I know, right? We need more nude newts. Um, yeah, no, I did it as like a gag. Because at one point, so a dude from Reddit apparently said that he had a nude of me. And he's like, I'm gonna release it on Twitter, and I was like, okay, like, go ahead, thank you. I think I have an okay sized dick. I think it's aesthetically pleasing, but I only post pictures flaccid, because I'm modest that way. I'm like a Game of Thrones character. Uh, but thought that nude sketch of you. Yeah, I think that's what the dude was saying. So I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna make an OnlyFans because then if people are gonna release something, Newt's a grower, not a shower. No, I'm a shower that becomes a grower. Um, Again, you guys who watch me, have seen the women that I associate with. I'm not good looking. I'm not tall. I don't have any money, and I'm not very smart. They're clearly around me because I got a fucking wiffle ball bat between my legs. Um, but whatever. It is what it is. And again, I don't have any fucking self-esteem anymore, so it doesn't even fucking matter. Like I'm not wooing anybody. I'm not impressing anybody anymore. I used to have game, and it would get me in trouble because I would have several ladies at the same time, and never when I had a girlfriend or anything like that. And sometimes when they had boyfriends and I was sleeping with them, and then they would get mad at me because I would be hanging out with other girls. Um, or bring gay girls back to the office. But I know, but it's like they're not interested in me like that. They're interested in continuing to help me build my brand and them help build their brand and all that kind of stuff. Newt Riz. um, but no, like so I've over the last going on 3 years, I've just noticed a substantial. I have no sense of myself anymore. What happened to that girl you went on a date with? The one who took. Oh, we never went out on a second date. Or we never went out because she got COVID. Um, and I think she's seeing somebody now. But we still talk. Her birthday's coming up soon. And but no, we're cool. And then the other girl, the one I went to elementary or middle school with, she's just super busy. She's a doctor. But, she's like, well, we'll get together in March or something like that. I don't want to bother people with my bullshit. Because, like, most of the time when I'm free, other people aren't free. And I'm so rarely free that I don't want to, like, drag people along with bullshit or something like that. Because last Tuesday, the 13th, I went to see a concert with an ex-girlfriend of mine. We went and saw a show, and we had a nice meal and drank and stuff like that. Like, that was the first time I'd been out in a setting like that in quite a while. I've never, I don't know. Oh, how did the doctor date go? She wants to, no, not really. The other night we were supposed to hang out, we got a really bad snowstorm. And now she's just busy. So we'll hang out eventually. No one is that busy, even doctors. No, they're pretty busy. Um, and, I should make an appointment. Come see Newt's Newt. I mean, if you're gonna sign up for the OnlyFans, uh, you know. But no, I don't know. I don't. Again, I don't want to. I'm so broken from the whole thing that happened almost 3 years ago that I don't trust my own instincts anymore on stuff, and I'm still very much nursing uh, anger and frustration and all that kind of stuff. It's weird to have people in your life for that long that aren't in your life anymore. And then it's not even just people who like aren't your friends anymore. It's also people who passed away. That's another thing. Is somebody who's been in my life for so fucking long is gone, and I feel like I'm missing part of myself. I miss those people who I could go to about like the really personal shit, or or checking me into place and stuff like that. Those people aren't there anymore. So she'll make you wait in the room. Yeah, I'll just show up at her place with the fucking thing in the back that's open. Um yeah, I know it's weird. It's one of those things, and that's why I'm in therapy, and thankfully one of my ex-girlfriends is a therapist, and and we can be very honest with each other, and it's weird when you've been all up in your therapist's guts, but that's a thing. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out who the fuck I am, and what I want, and who I want to be, and I know who I don't want to be. And some big changes are gonna still probably have to come in order to shed whatever's left of who I used to be. And does that mean not doing YouTube stuff anymore? I don't know. A lot of people have told me that like continuing to do this shit is keeping me tangentially connected to that shit. I don't believe that, because I think we have a nice little community of people, and I genuinely enjoy getting on and talking to people. That's a good, very holistic. And that was years ago. The last time we hooked up was like 2018. So, as someone who is in therapy, it's helped me a lot with my depression and learning cope. Yeah, exactly. And I was saying earlier, when we were talking about the porn stars who unalive themselves, like mental health is fucked up, man. Like I knew how fucked up I was for a really, really long time. Like ever since I was a little kid, I was well aware of how fucked up I was. Um, but like not too long ago no, she's married and has a kid. Um, you know, and her husband makes a lot of money. So no, but she's amazing. She's in Christy's the one in the Paperboy 2 video. She's Paper Girl, the one who looks like Natalie Portman. And I've known her since 2009. We met when I lived down the Jersey Shore, and we had this wild fucking this wild, weird romance for a summer, and then we just kind of stayed, in each other's lives for all these years. Let's see. I feel you knew someone. Yeah, it's you feel like hey, what's going on, Wes? You feel like a part of you is missing. When did you start getting help? Only after the incident? No, I started. If we trace it back, I lived in Arizona. I used to date Justin Silverman's sister for a really long time, and we kind of had a falling out there, because I think we both moved it out there quickly and not prepared for all of that stuff. And so when I came back here, things were not good, because a lot of people told me, if you move out there, we're not going to have your back anymore, and all that kind of stuff. So I was homeless at one point, because I left her all my money, because we moved, because I wanted to have a better life out there. So I moved this into a better place, and it's really expensive. So when I moved back, I left her all my money. And then it was $1,000 to fly from Phoenix to Philadelphia on Christmas Day, when she booted me out. So I had no place to go. I couldn't go hang out with Justin anymore, because I broke up with his sister, No, I know. And then I moved, and then I moved out there under the I moved out there because I thought I needed to. And I broke up with the redhead and started seeing the other one and all that kind of stuff. And then when I was gone, she started seeing somebody else and all this kind of stuff. But when I came back here, I had no place to go. I was couch surfing certain people's houses for a while and stuff like that. But I was essentially homeless until I found a job working at this hotel. And then, bizarrely, I started dating that blonde girl, Krista, who was fucking super hot. But and that was again at my lowest points. I meet people who are like, oh, I see something in you, and I was really hungry at that point to get back into film stuff. And when I started dating Krista, I went on this tear. of making shit like the Geeks, Girls, Guns, and Ghouls trailer and the Gorilla trailer and the and writing things and all this kind of stuff and the you know, and so I went on this fucking tear, the Pokemon trailer, all that kind of stuff, and eventually I broke up with the blonde and stuff like that, and Krista sounds like, yeah, she looks like if you go watch the Geeks, Girls, Guns, and I think it puts this Amityville Arcade on there. She's the blonde in that. She looks like Kelly Cuoco from Big Bang Theory. And yeah, she was super beautiful. I mean, she still is super beautiful. You know, we're in very different places in our lives, and you know, we still chat on Instagram and on Facebook and shit like that. And I keep saying, like, once I have money, I'm gonna bring you out to do something. You know, it's just I don't have anything right now, and I don't want to I don't want to drag people along into my nonsense as I'm trying to figure out what the fuck I'm doing. You know. But yes, when I moved back here, I was essentially homeless. I had no money. I had no nothing. And then I have, you know, my family and friends hate me, and my ex-girlfriend out there hates me, and my best friend at the time, you know, was the redhead, and I left her to go be with the other one. And then I eventually moved when I got on my feet and started running the Wayne Theater. I moved the one from Arizona out to live with me, and I helped put her through nursing school and get her sister off drugs and get her brother trying to get his 500 pounds down, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, whatever. I'm still friends with the sister, but, you know, we can't be publicly. How did you get back with the redhead? She forgave you after that. It took a while. You know, we didn't, I moved back here in December, January, February, March. Yeah, we didn't talk for 3 months. And then we filmed Gorilla. And that was one of the most awkward days ever because her boyfriend was there and we had to film the shower scene and stuff like that. So that was super weird. And then after a while, we just kind of started hanging out again together. And I got onto this thing of like, well, I'm going to start writing because I actually have some money coming in and I can start paying people to do shit, you know, start making things. And then we kind of, you know, we found our way through things again. She had a boyfriend for the whole 9 years. And then when I started on the other show, I said, why don't we bring her on? I think she'll be good for views and stuff like that. And then they didn't want her. And I've told that story before. Did her boyfriend know about you? What do you mean? There was nothing going on. He knew that we were friends. I met him twice. Yeah. But yeah, no, so that, you know, that was that. And, you know, so... And then it took, I moved the Arizona one out here in 2015. She lived with me till 2016. I put her through school. And then she started dating this other dude. And they moved directly across the street from me. So you could literally see their apartment from my kitchen window. And it was when I had Elvira and Tor at the time too. So I'd have to have the blinds up so they didn't destroy the blinds. But I was always like, oh, fuck, they can see into my apartment and shit like that. And it was super weird. But she and I are friends now, you know, and I think that people who stick with you, even when they know you're a fuck up, you know, I think Madam Web will affect Craven. Oh, Craven's going to be fucked by that. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, Horn Dog. I've never heard anything about that. I don't know where you get your information from. That's some tasty water. Oh, what we talking about? We're talking about therapy. So I moved back here, get my shit together. Finally, hold on, let me see what we got here. Short Circuit 2, not gonna lie. The one chick that's been on your old show, off the last month, Casey, the final girl, is really hot. I don't know who she is, but she apparently talks shit to me about me to another YouTube channel that I met at a con, and they were apprehensive about talking to me because she told them that about me being abusive and all this kind of stuff, and I was like, fact check, explain to me where. Yeah, I fucking yelled at somebody in a parking lot when I had a nervous breakdown and tried to kill myself. That's about as abusive as you can ever fucking, you know, accuse me of, because I feel terrible about things and I want nothing more of them for people to be happy, and my brain sticks in things and I can't stop thinking about it from every angle on how I fucked up, and that's one of the reasons that I'm in therapy, you know? Man, I hate those babies. I don't know. I never met the person. I can't speak to it, Just seems crazy. I mean, they're all kind of crazy. You'd have to be to go hang out over there. Um, but yeah, so 2013, or 20, yeah, 2013, I moved back here, get my shit together, get into therapy. I had another suicidal incident, and it was on the same day that Robin Williams killed himself. And that's when I realized that I needed to get into therapy. So I did, and I did that for a while, and then I mean, Metz has told the stories about the Wayne. I just had to always be there, so I had to cancel doing therapy at that point, and then I kind of let it go. But I never really, I lied a lot to my therapist because I didn't come clean about some of the abuse stuff until afterwards. The night that I still don't like what they're doing. The autistic girl, including Peluso, who's sure. Oh, I have no doubt about that. But that I think that whole thing is sketch as fuck. Even when I met them for the first time, I was like, something's not right here with everything. But again, you know, what's the New York subway thing? If you see something, say something. I didn't say anything. But yeah, so I went to therapy until I couldn't afford the time anymore, not the money. Um, and then I kind of put it off and stayed just working. But you never get rid of those problems. You never get rid of the shit that's festering. Yeah, now she's all assed out on IG. I don't know, man. But they all have fansleys and shit like that, or OnlyFans and stuff. I have one too. Fucking Fallon has one, makes tons of money on. I'm never gonna say anything about that. If someone doesn't have full autonomy, then it's a different story. You know. But yeah, so I never addressed the full extent of the abuse that happened when I was a kid and the shit that went on with me and all this kind of stuff. So that kind of like, I think that even if the whole Cinemassacre thing didn't happen, I was probably bound for a nervous breakdown at some point. So it just happened at the most, visible time for people to watch and enjoy my downfall. So, hello, how are you, Grave Reviews? You're joining us in the midst of a therapy story. So, um, I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. Like I say, there's the people who say that everything happens for a reason, and then there's the people who say, some things just happen because you make bad choices. That's everybody who doesn't fucking jerk them off, though. Fallon and Madeline are wonderful, And I'm not gonna say them because guess what? When things were good, before I knew that I was just like a stepping stone for a person to get to another place to just forget about me, that person was great too. That person was my fucking muse on everything. I genuinely I got into therapy because I wanted so badly to fix myself because I wanted to marry that person. Um, I have a weird laugh. People say it's sinister. Don't listen to all the people who say you should better in a year or something. Oh, it takes a long time. Like after there's a progression to these things. There's ebb and flows to these things, and there are times when it feels like things are going in the right direction. Like as soon as I left there, I said, fuck it, I'm gonna make the comic book. And then I worked with a producer friend of mine and we start putting the comic book together and stuff like that. That's just expensive, and I don't have Screenwave's money to do these things. I don't know, man. I hear about things afterwards. The good thing I do is I put everything on video. So if anybody wants to say I said something about it, you can go back and cite what I said. I don't talk about people behind their backs. I don't talk about people at cons when they can't defend themselves. And I would also never make fun of someone being molested as a kid, and I would never make fun of somebody's suicide attempts either. And the excuse that I got was, well, you tried to ruin our show. No, No, because you didn't get fired because of me. You know, you got your show where it is because of me. You know, then you just, you know, stuck at it. But you know, I don't have, I don't know. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be a content creator like that. I don't want to, you know, I shoot things when I feel like shooting them. It doesn't matter if 100 people are going to watch it or 20,000 people are going to watch it. Who cares? I don't make any money. You know, I do it because I genuinely like talking to you people. I genuinely like learning about new people. I like learning about movies I've never heard of. I like telling people about movies that I love, you know, or talking about projects we have coming up. Or if somebody comes and does a guest review or something like that, I like to be able to expose people to people who I think are cool. You know, and that's, you know, and Marutosa will come and do a review, or Old School will come and do a review, or Lana and Dave will come do a review. There's another dude who used to be good friends with Justin. They don't talk to anymore. Asked me if he could do a review. I said, yeah, you can come do a review, but just know that you're dead to them at this point. Like you're non grata once you come and do something for me, and that's kind of where we are. You know, I would love if that was not the case anymore. I would love if it just tomorrow I woke up and everybody wanted to bury the hatchet, you know, and I've been thinking about that shit a lot more, especially with the health stuff. That say I do get bad news when I go back to the doctor, I don't want to leave things on bad ground. You know, I'm so happy that I got a chance to, even though Christy, before she passed, she knew just how fucking over the moon I was about her, but I heard her a lot too when we were young and stupid and together. So, you know, for me to get the chance to talk to her and, like, you know, just talk and kind of clear things up and thank her so much for letting me be part of her life and her daughter's life and all that kind of stuff, and letting, you know, and have her come to do special effects and stuff for me. Like, I got that closure, and I worry about the fact that some people will never listen, you know, and you don't want to leave things in bad places, but sometimes you're not going to really have a choice because that's just how life is, you know. It's not fair. But, you know, I made the choices that I made to lead me in these different places, and they're not just the fucking plagiarism shit. Like, I know what I did, and I also know that what other people did, and I know that, you know, enabling someone for 13 plus years creates a lot of issues, and then me looking at how other people do things and then thinking that I could do the same thing and not living up to my full potential, that's on me, you know. And I've told this story a million times. I did a Q&A, or I did the AMA. If you have our Patreon, I spill a little bit more tea over there and tell some inside stories that you guys asked for. But, like, I've accepted just how badly I fuck things up. And I have apologized to all of them on several occasions. They don't care. I do need to learn to just let go and just forget about it, and just, you know, and that's a 23 year, 15 year part of my life that I had to learn a hard lesson from. But you know, that's it's not how things work, you know, and that's part of what we talk about in therapy, and what I try to be mindful of is dealing with all of those insecurities of mine and trying to be somebody that I'm not and stuff like that, and just realizing, like, I don't want to be, like, you know, pumping out content you know, because I have to, and not being happy with it and all that shit, and you know, I don't know, it would be nice to get brand deals and stuff like that, but it's not going to happen. I'm not that channel. I'm a fucking dude sitting in his living room. It used to be a dude sitting in his kitchen, you know? So it's just that. It's you know, accepting what I have control of and what I... Oh, I'm back. Can you hear me? Okay. All right, I'm back. I hope you guys can hear me. One thing you always remember now is that they're not your friends. No, exactly. And that's, you know, exactly. No, like, and again, you know, there's a thing coming up. There's a reality show thing coming up. I went and I talked to some producers about it, and they like me, and I'm on their short list right now. I'll find out more about that at the end of this month, hopefully. If that happens, I had to tell the producers of that show all this stuff. I had to lay everything out, every impropriety I've ever done, every haircut I got on company, company money and stuff like that. Because in the event that anybody does try to come back with anything, they just want to have everything covered. But, another friend of mine was like, well, what if now they want to come back into your life? What do you do? And, and part of me, the realistic part of me goes, pay back the $14 already. The realistic part of me says that'll never happen, you know? Um, but, another part of me would like to have closure on things. But I also realize that's not how things work. Every little victory, if I get for that, or if the movie gets done, or the comic book gets done, or something like that, that's just a victory. Yeah, I know. But again, I've said this a million times on this channel. I went along with all of it. I saw what was going on and I just let it be because I wanted to be part of the club. I wanted to, my ultimate thinking was taking on all those fucking scripts for James or doing all the extra stuff for all the other channels and shit like that, was I thought that eventually I'm going to be beyond reproach and then I won't need to cling on to people who I knew were just using me for things. And in that Machiavellian attempt of climbing the corporate ladder, I fucked myself. And that's exactly what it was I took shortcuts and I fucked myself. And that's a very, very valuable lesson to learn, because all the fucking years of running movie theaters, I did everything by the book, the way you're supposed to. I killed myself over it. And the one time I take my foot off the fucking gas or off the pedal, this is what happens to you. So it's a life lesson, But what I think about a lot, and one of the things that keeps me going on stuff, is like, okay, there are still, there's 41 people right here watching, whether they're fucking people who actually give a shit, or they're trolls, or they're people I used to work with who are watching to go, what a piece of shit he is, or whatever. There are people out there who actually give a shit, You're bigger than Mr. Beast. Yeah, no, and that's one of the biggest thing, is the internal, my own ego, is a thing. You had to keep our job. Well, to many people it does, because I still have that one dude who's got like 20 different sock accounts, who just calls me a plagiarist from like different accounts until I keep blocking all of them. Surgeon Jolt. My brother loves fucking Jolt. I don't get it. Or Ecto Cooler. Ecto Cooler is probably going to come back for the new Ghostbusters movie. But no, the killing of your own ego. I'm gonna and then I complain that the size is wrong, so I act like a Karen online, and then it causes a fight between the host and me trying to defend that person. It's a whole thing. But yeah, so like, trying to kill the person that I let myself be and become something else, but not let down the people who still watch, and to still try to give content that's, something that I would want to see, Let's see something. I'm a huge defender of you. Yeah, but I didn't think that was a, I thought that people knew that already about the nerd, Was anyone from the old group that actually accepted your apology? No, not any of them. I was told nobody cares, everybody hates you. I kept the text message. Yeah. No, again, it's all, this is your escape from Scientology. I'm going clear, bitches. It was my Wet Hot American Summer. I think it's Boost is the one that's from South Jersey, and it's like the water that fucking the dude from Fame went into in RoboCop when he got all toxic waste out. It's gross. No, but I guess like I thought people knew already that he didn't do a lot of that shit. But granted, you can't blame anybody but yourself. I could sit here and be mad at the way things went down or the way that I was blamed when I couldn't defend myself. But in the end, I'm the one who copy paste shit and didn't check to make sure that it was redone, and that's 100% on me. And and I'll never be able to escape it because there's meetings I have now about film projects, and these people keep telling these producers I'm working with that I use ChatGPT on everything, or that I stole it from people and stuff like that. So it's always going to be something, So my biggest goal, the biggest thing I've been working towards is keeping the people who are in my life in my life. That's my biggest fear, is losing more people that I care about and that I'm trying to make happy or make smile or whatever. Can't change the fact that I haven't seen any. I honestly, I always liked him as a person, and I didn't care for some of the things that were said about the dude by other people who, were supposed to be his friends. But it's eventually you check out, man. You got kids. You want to be a good dad. Thank you, Race, and you make me smile. That's one of the good things, When I was talking to my therapist about this like a couple months ago, and she was like, count up the good things that came from all this shit. And meeting Race is a huge part of it. And then becoming closer friends with with Mets as well is just another huge one, And then being allowed to hang out with Fallon, because when I had the other one, Fallon wasn't allowed to be around because she was intimidated by Fallon, and we had that conversation. And there's other people who worked with us who that person made uncomfortable, and now they're cool hanging out on sets. We have to placate people's egos and all that kind of shit. It gets to be a lot. It gets to be a lot even at jobs and film sets and all this kind of stuff, where you're trying to get what you need, but you have to be so many different things to so many different people, and you lose sight of who you are in all of that, Yeah. Destruction brings creation. I hope so, man. I just honestly, like, all I want from all this fucking shit, man, is to like have something that I made myself, and with friends and talented people, and we can all have it together. Because without you guys, and this isn't like some fucking lame YouTube fucking jerk off session, like there were so many times when I was ready to check out again. Even when I was doing What the Fuck Wednesday stuff and all, I was like, I'm done. I can't keep doing this. And I don't mean like ready to stop doing YouTube. Have a good night, Cynthia. I was just ready to be done with life because I didn't see things moving forward. I always saw that I was going to be buried under that 3-month period of my life, when so many other things were going on. Like, again, like I tell people on the outside, and I'm like, even not like, forget the id, forget the, woe is me shit. I just laid out, what would you do if these things happened to you all in succession? And they're like, yeah, I'd crack. And I was like, all right, so it's not just me. It's not just me being weak, because I carried a lot of shit for a really long time. And this is a woe is me. It's a man's job to adapt and go forward and create. And there are people who've done and seen way fucking worse shit than me, and been born under horrible situations. It's just all how we internalize things and how we deal with it. And I dealt with it really poorly for a really, really long time. And the reason that I wanted to make movies and make comic books and be a personality was because, okay, I don't love myself. I hate myself, actually. I still do, Maybe other people can say you're good and smart, And that's kind of what led me into wanting to create, because I was like, oh, if I'm making things, it gives me an excuse to be around creative people. I'm not sitting in a cubicle or something like that. And at the end, we'd all have something that we made together that we can share, And I'd love nothing fucking more than for, down the line to have something that spawned from all the horrible shit that happened, self-inflicted, 100%. So if you're watching in Cinemassacre Truth, I'm telling you it's self-inflicted. This isn't a woe is me. This isn't pity party like they said. You can go back to making fun of me and wishing that I killed myself and shit like you guys were doing. or calling my job and trying to get me fired from my job, or saying that I'm sexually harassing Mets even though Mets doesn't work for me. Like, but yeah, I would love just to have the fucking thing. And it's like, look, we made this, and this is here because, you guys stuck by me, and I stuck by because you guys stuck by me, and here we go. Anything is possible now. That's where I want to get to. That's what I thought the comic book would be. It's just taken a lot longer than I thought. And then when I found out that I got to reshoot so much of Midnight Show, I haven't turned myself around though. That's the whole thing. There are times when the old me slips back in, and it's a knee-jerk reaction to a lot of shit, and the reason that I'm worried about health situations now is because I went right back to I'm gonna work every fucking day and I'm gonna kill myself with work, not like what I tried to actually do. And not taking care of myself, not sleeping, not eating properly, all that kind of stuff, falling behind on bills, trying to do like, in the last year, trying to get some projects done, I've made myself fucking broke. I literally have one pair of shoes that I wear literally has holes that are huge at the bottom of them because I'm not going to go buy myself a new pair of shoes because I'm trying to stay ahead on fucking everything because I can't stop now, because if I stop now, I'm an even fucking bigger loser and disappointment to myself and to the people who believed in me, and more so to the people who are like, told you he couldn't do it. He can't do it. And then, if I get a couple things together, dude, that burger place by you looks so damn good. It is. Lucky's, it's very good. Eventually you'll come and hang out with us in Philadelphia and we'll take you for drinks and burgers, And then we'll have you on the stream. Metz's other like strays just sometimes wander into my apartment and they're on stream. I'm like, hello, person. Welcome to my home. I hope you don't kill me. I was walking around talking Converse shoes for a while. Yeah, no, it's bad. Hold on. Like, literally. But I'm trying not to spend any money on anything other than trying to catch up on bills, trying to finish projects, trying to make sure that anybody works with us gets paid. And that's my biggest thing is I can't let some fucking asshole who works with us go like, well, he didn't do this, and then now I'm the fucking dickhead, so I'm trying really, really hard to be the guy who handles everything and takes care of all the shit, because then they can't, nobody can take from me what I've gained, and it sucks that it's taken 3 years. And it's probably going to take more, Back some recommendations. They dismantled in like 2 months. Because if Mets brought Mickey Rourke drunk, I wouldn't either. Mets is out front, like, with the dude who's asking them to step on them with their with the big boots, or the pizza guy and the weird people at the bar. Mets attracts attention everywhere they go. But that's been the biggest thing is just like, making goals for myself. I'm not trying to rush it, but I need something. I need things to go like, well, if you're a plagiarist, then why does Donald Farmer keep fucking hiring me? Or why did Eric Roberts ask me to rewrite all of his dialogue for Scissors? And I'm trying to, have you considered, I do have a Patreon. We have a Schlock And Awe Patreon. I put a couple of commentary tracks on there. I put some never before seen short films on there. Some of the work in progress pages for Florida Man. Metz and I did like a podcast video last week or the week before that we put up about like our friendship and how they got involved with the channel and all that kind of stuff. He should have made the title Scissor Me Timbers. No, like, stuff like that is cool. But it sucks when somebody from, my old life or from Reddit will contact those producers because they see who I'm working with, and they they say, this person's a plagiarist, and then the person who's the producer has to then call me and they got to do a check for everything. I sent a script out last Wednesday, and I sent a plagiarism sheet with it. I was like, here you go, just so nobody can say a fucking word. I've just been sending those out with people. I run a complete plagiarism check. You know, the software they have is Screenwave, but didn't use um, until it got found out. But yeah, just so people can't talk shit anymore, because I'm just, I'm tired of it. It minimizes, but again, I deserve it. But I also get to a point where I'm like, just stop, please. Just give me give me a win. I want an ash can. We have a couple in reserve. We will get those, the ones that is actually stalking. Yes, there's a couple people who are legitimately like that. And I don't know what the end game is. I don't know, will you feel good if I killed myself? Like, is that what you wanted? The thankfully the dude who's the one of the mods of the truth and I talked, and and he's kind of tapped. I don't go over there, but he's tapped down on posts about me. Mostly because I showed the other guy how the libel laws work. How are they finding out? Finding out about me, or finding out about people I'm working with. I post whenever like I'm working with somebody. I'm excited to be working on this project or whatever. That's what got me in trouble in the first place. I should have never fucking said, "Oh my god, I got asked to write 6 Monster Madness reviews." Hey, I got asked to write 15 Monster Madness reviews. Hey, I got asked to write 26 Monster Madness reviews. Um, I think just destroying for a laugh. I think that's kind of the end game there. Um, have you ever listened to Howard Stern? Oh, I grew up listening to Howard Stern. Um, the real question is, why are you still drinking that soda? I don't know, because it's in front of me. I shouldn't be drinking it anymore. It's terrible. He doesn't write his own scripts. Eric Roberts? No, I wrote it. I wrote the script for him. But yeah, no, I was showing them something about the libel laws because of some people who said some really nasty shit about the business I work for, and another person who said some really nasty shit about Christy, who passed away. Wrote that she died to get away from me, and I was blinded by fucking rage. But I avoid it for the most part. Nobody of late has told me they've said anything about me over there, so I don't bother with it. It was just a couple weeks ago I got the call about the dude who went to this guy Rob, who I wrote Scissors for, and told him that the entire script was Chat GPT. But then Rob was like, "Well, wait a minute, I'm the one who wrote that? Someone you know, or random?" It's a random, but it's fucked up, super fucked up, and it's just one of those things that like I almost wish I didn't see it. I think my life would be a lot better if it's out there, but I don't know it's out there, because then I became obsessed with it and I couldn't stop looking at it, and that was fucked up. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have fans, and I don't think that anybody's stalking me because they're obsessed with me. I think that people love to watch to see if I'll squirm and break again, you know? Um, but again, they've left me alone for the most part. I don't go check the British dude's shit. When you're too crazy to be on the Cinemassacre Truth and they make fun of you over there, it might be time to fucking reevaluate your life, because I think that you're a danger to yourself and other people. Um, but we found that they used to read when I used to work over there. They were on those fucking sites constantly, reading what people were writing about them and shit like that. And I didn't want anything to do with it. The only reason I even knew about it in the first place was Justin's former roommate, when he was on the out. Well, he's on the outs with them, but he was on the outs with them. Fucking dude stole from Newgrounds when they went there for a visit, and then didn't understand why he was an outcast. But he told me about it because he was always talking about the stuff that was going on over there, and I was just like, I don't fucking care, man. These are grown ass dudes, and when it became a thing, like you had people attacking the Water Tower Theater, or people coming at the theater now, and but thankfully for the last few months, I haven't heard anything. So, um, the Red Cow guys, no, they never contacted me. I know they talked about me. Michael, a friend of mine, he's a filmmaker out in Ohio. He shot a documentary with me about like my movie theater stories. He works with Red Cow a lot. He said that they don't have anything against me. I don't want to. Kieran's already gone on and done that shit. I don't want to do that. I have no interest. Um, it's just it's not my thing. I'd love if again I'd love if tomorrow I could fucking wake up and that never happened and everything is copacetic, and knowing what I know now I can reevaluate my relationships with people and all that kind of stuff. But we're never going to have that that thing. But again, I've also thought about like, what if things didn't happen that way? Why did Kieran leave? uh, I, he quit, right? Isn't that the story that they gave? I don't know, dude had a drinking problem and all kinds of other stuff, and but he got the same, uh, you know, he got the same treatment I did. Do everybody's jobs, and then we don't need you anymore. We don't need you anymore, and then it's going to happen to the next person, who's Sean from Movie Dumpster, I think, is doing all that stuff now. So he'll get that treatment eventually. It's just going to be it was pushing the fucking boulder up the hill. Well, I mean, I was doing a lot of his work. Whatever. I'm not going to get into it. I've talked about it before. You know. Um, no, I get it. I just, in a perfect world, I would love to. Did Sean work? He still does, right? I think he still works for them. Um, have a good one, man. And I want to see your Swamp Zombies 2 review when you guys finally do it. If you have not gone to subscribe to Grave Reviews, I recommend you go do it right now. Met them at the ShermaCon, and they were fucking awesome. And denim, a lot of denim. Again, watch the AMA. I tell some good stories in that one about working there, things I can't put in the public ether. You guys asked some good questions, so I answered them. But again, like, he was a dude who was a fan of Underbelly, who we gave a chance to come work with us, and he went on to do his public access show, and then went on to work for them and all that kind of stuff. And again, once you're it's a cult. It's a weird little insulated cult. And once you're on the outside of it and you go, "Oh, this is weird. Why did I go along with this? Why was I okay with this? This is so not me." I saw the costumes. I did not see the trailer or anything yet. I know that Eli Roth left it when they were doing reshoots, and the dude who did Deadpool 2 came on, or Deadpool 1 came on, so he could go do Thanksgiving. What was my favorite review of that old show? I don't know. There were some I wish I never did. There were some reviews I just genuinely had a miserable experience work doing. There was some where I had to get drunk. Oh boy. Yeah, so there was some reviews I had to get drunk to get through. Oh, okay, so you know what it's like when you get in those when you get in those weird little insulated worlds where they create, where it's always people who are like bullied in their youth and in their formidable years, who now have power, and then they can create their own world where nobody can get in and penetrate that. um the Lenny Kravitz one, which one was that? I remember us laughing about the Lenny Kravitz thing, but what review was that? Was that Mad Max? Oh yeah. Yep. And then his friend, the autistic, yeah, Mad Max, the autistic girl's boyfriend, like kept calling Patton Oswalt a murderer on his Facebook, on his like on his like Twitter and stuff like that, and everybody there in the office thought it was so funny that he didn't notice that he called him a murderer. And I was like, dude's fucking wife died, like, and he's got a daughter. Like, what? How is this funny? You know? Um, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the Mad Max one. We watched that when that actually aired. We were in Detroit at Astronomicon. It's when I had Bell's palsy, and we watched that review, the premiere of it, in the Target parking lot, sitting on like those red balls in the Target parking lot. And it sucked because I couldn't laugh because my face was dead on one side, so it hurt whenever I was trying to do it. So I wound up just walking away. And I don't think I've ever watched the full review through. I remember making the other girl laugh with the poop story. Um, the fuck is with right wingers? They don't like anybody who's like they consider woke. They don't like them. Whatever. Like there's some shit that I'm super liberal about to a fault, and there's also some stuff that I'm super conservative about. I believe in common sense. I remember the poop story making the other chick there laugh. I remember the very first review we ever did of Wishmaster. I remember being in so much pain from the fucking from the COVID shots, but we had to pretend that we were drunk because he couldn't let his audience know that he got the vaccine. Um, oh, really? Yeah. Um, but yeah, so I remember being in like so much pain doing the Fear and Loathing episode. Uh, yeah, that wasn't funny. I didn't know they were going to do that, and that actually hurt my feelings. I was very, very self-conscious about that, and yeah. And I remember originally we thought I had a stroke. And it was weird because the very first person who contacted me was James. James contacted me, and then Mike contacted me to see if I was okay because James's wife had seen on my Facebook that I was in the hospital, and they thought that I had a stroke. And do you agree? Did you agree to that? I didn't agree to anything when they did that. Do you still keep in touch with Kieran? No, Kieran and I weren't really that friendly when I was working there. And then I'm really good friends with his ex-girlfriend, Cami, and he treated her extremely poorly. And I don't like that at all. And the things he said about me and stuff like that. So when I found out that all that shit had happened to him, I was like, wow, it's a shame. And all that stuff was always like impromptu. It was always just I said whatever came to my mind, and I always just tried to be a foil. There were times when we had to stop recording and go, "Oh, it's a really good line. I'm gonna say that," or "She's gonna say that," and then we'd have to stop, and then we'd have to make it like they said the thing that I said. But that's what happens when you're the third wheel. But no, there were some of them that were a lot of fun and we laughed a lot. I really, really, actually, I really enjoyed the Ghostbusters one where we kind of like we broke it down. I think ours is the best Ghostbusters 2 review that's ever been done. And that's not saying much, but I think that we broke that one down really well. Did you complain? Yeah, I did. I complained about it. I wasn't happy with that at all, but they said it's a joke, and because I had made jokes about it, then it's apparently okay. Um, but yeah, it made me feel bad. It made me, and that was and that was kind of the start. That was in the midst of things too. Um, that was in the midst of a lot of bad things that were happening at the time, and me trying to continue to work forward on things, and then not being able to communicate properly because half your face is broken. That's back when I introduced Ryan and Justin to Michael Hers, who's the money man for Trauma, and got the whole Toxic Crusader thing together. Because again, Toxic Crusader thing was my fucking idea, and they'll never say that. They said none of my ideas were good ever, was what they said, but they're spending a lot of money on a bad idea, you know? Um, But I just remember like not being able to communicate at the meetings, and there used to be a camera up in the front of the boardroom, and it would kind of be around the big table where we sat, and I would purposely sit the other way so this side of my face was showing because I was so self-conscious about it, you know? Oh, it was awesome having Fred on. Um, how much is the license for that kind of stuff? It was expensive. It was very expensive because I remember sitting in some meetings and hearing numbers and like, I made when I worked there, I made like I don't know, like 34,000 a year. That included benefits. It was less than I made at the movie theater. And you got paid monthly. And I never got a cut of any of the merchandising stuff that I worked on, any of the any of the con stuff, any of the Patreon or any of that stuff, or any of the stuff I wrote, like, the ads for the video game, and or Monarch Legacy of yeah, I actually really liked it. I liked the way it moved back and forth between Kurt Russell and his son playing the same character in two different time periods. But yeah, hearing those numbers, I was like, that's not real money. That's not real money, you know? It's the same. It's so Sam Beddoes, the guy who did the Manos the Hands of Fate game, um, reconfigured that to be the AVGN game. And then when they did AVGN 1 and 2 Deluxe, is when I was working there. So I wrote all the branding for that. All the fucking ads where like Mike does the voice of Bugs Bunny and all that kind of stuff. I wrote all those. Or even the fucking Black Friday one where Justin's the Tiger King type guy. I wrote that. I never saw a fucking dime of that shit. Um, so that kind of shit was always frustrating to me because I was like, when's going to be my turn? Or all my stories that were on Patreon. But apparently, like one of the very last times I ever talked to the redhead, she told me they get paid for the Patreon stuff. So, you know, now I get paid. I made $68 on Patreon last month. Um, yeah, the big handlebar mustache one. So we had shot something called TNA TNT a while ago, and that was with Mel, who used to be on the channel a lot, and my other friend Lynn, and he played like this same kind of character, but he was a dude who owned a fireworks factory. And I wrote some really fucking funny dialogue, and he performed it really well. But I was like, can we use that character for the Black Friday video? So we literally put that entire thing together in one afternoon on a lunch break, and then had to get back to, well, I had to get back to my regular job. But yeah, I thought that one was really fucking funny, or even like the AVGN game trailer that I wrote, like Mike really liked it. Mike really liked the dialogue that I gave him for Bugs Bunny and all that kind of stuff. And like to hear the guy who actually was AVGN say he liked it made me feel good, little things like that. It was like I guess the pat on the head was enough. I don't ask for much for people, man. I don't want things. I don't want. Would money be nice? Sure, it would. But more so, I would just like to fucking feel comfortable in my own skin and know that people want to be my friends and not trying to use me or anything like that. All right, good night, man. Race is off. He's off to the races. Hoping I can get some time free in March and go out and visit Race. I was supposed to last year. He tried to pay for me to come out, but I couldn't get off. An idea. I think a Mac and Me sequel would be good. Um, Matinee. Yeah, Mac and Me too, but like do it like super like dark and gritty, like District 9. Although, did you see the first still from the Lilo and Stitch live action movie? It basically looks like Mac and Me because it's in the little car. How was One Love? It was well acted. It was narratively loose. I knew that he didn't die from the assassination. I knew he died from cancer. You were all working towards the African concert, but I feel like it meandered a little bit too much to fully be what I think it should be. Because Bob Marley, it's an amazing person. Do you remember the Chuck E. Cheese movie parody poster from the 90s? Those were kind of creepy. Yes, I do remember those. I have a lot of little cousins. I have like 13 cousins, and they were all born in the early to late 90s. So I went to a lot of birthday parties at fucking Chuck E. Cheese when I was a kid. My mom's side of the family is extremely close. I haven't seen anybody in a long time, but we used to always be together. Return of the Mac, like the blaxploitation movie. Did you watch the Iron Claw? Yes, I think I did a review of Iron Claw. I don't remember now. Metz was supposed to do a review of Iron Claw, but didn't do it. No, I liked Iron Claw. I thought I knew the story already. Thought it was extremely well acted. I know they changed a lot of stuff up, but from not being a huge wrestling guy, I appreciated it, and I thought that fucking the High School Musical boy did a great job in that one. I think that was I think that's the last movie I saw at the theater that like wasn't a movie that I have at my theater. Um, and then One Love, Tony Soprano's son was in it. Better go back to work and have an awesome night. Yeah, you too, man. Have a good one. You did a review and you did a good job. Okay, I don't remember what I talked about anymore. Um, Zac Efron should be not. Yes, he should have been nominated for an Oscar. I think he got kind of shafted. Granted, I still think that fucking Ken is gonna win for Best Supporting Actor, but that's me. I thought he was pretty good in that movie. I also thought it was pretty funny that the movie gets nominated, but none of the female people got nominated, and I was like, wait, that's literally the plot of Barbie. um, but I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I didn't get a chance to see. You called Ryan Gosling. I hope so. I mean, I thought he was great in it. I thought he played I thought he played that character really, really well, and it made me laugh. And it also like certain dudes I know I wish saw themselves in that. Actually, you know what Mac and Me Too should be? It's Mac coming back because it's like in E.T. Like kids are hanging out with a fucking alien from outer space. Why would they have cancer? They'd be radiated and have cancer and die. And Mac is like brought back to stand trial. Actually, he wouldn't even have to be brought back because they became American citizens. It should be like in Watchmen when Dr. Manhattan has to face that everyone in his life got cancer. You do it like that. Anyone But You. I didn't see that one. Is that the one with Sydney Sweeney? Apparently her titties are beautiful. I have never seen them, but I believe I need to see them at some point. Some guys are leg men, some guys are butt men. I have both of those things, so I'm a boob man. That's just me. Mean Girls was awful. Yeah, there were elements of it. I liked certain actors a little bit more than in the original one, but it didn't really keep my attention. I feel like a dirty old man. I always feel like a dirty old man. I'm 42 years old. I'm past that point now. I'm just like whatever. As long as they're over 25, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. Yes, the Indian girl was hot. I actually preferred her, and I actually really liked the Halloween song. Curing sexy cancer. It could be like the boy with the striped pajamas, but like fucking but like Mac and Me. You turned 20? Fuck, dude, I wish I was 20 again. My 21st birthday I spent in the hospital. I fell off a ladder. I think Madam Web failed because it was terrible, and it showed nothing but contempt for its audience. And movies, I was talking about it earlier. Movies don't really have directors anymore. They have to meet a deadline, so they have shooters basically. So that Struckman guy I was saying earlier, like, why would you want to buddy up to a studio when they're not going to respect you? Make fucking indie art, dude. What do you think of the Fantastic Four casting? The only one I'm not crazy about is the Mandalorian. I think everybody else is pretty spot on. I'm not sold on him in that part, but I would like to see a connection to Hank Pym since it's clearly set in the 1960s. A young Hank Pym and Janet being his students, I think would be a cool idea. Um, and they can't. They got to do Galactus as a big fucking purple dude with a big fucking purple hat, or I'm gonna be so angry. And they're talking about um, Henry Cavill as Doctor Doom. I could see that. I would prefer fucking Scarecrow, but you know, Vanessa Kirby is literally looks like Jack Kirby drew her, you know. And the fucking dude, the guy from Stranger Things, I think would be a good Johnny. You want to see the Mole Man? Well, remember in the '94 Fantastic Four, he was the jeweler, not the Mole Man. You know, and that would have brought up a whole, you know, Jewish stereotype thing, you know. Who the hell is Dakota Johnson? Dakota Johnson is Tippi Hedren's granddaughter and Melanie Griffith's daughter, and she's been really good in things. We were talking about Iron Claw. If you ever get a chance to see Peanut Butter Falcon, she's really good in that movie. He's auditioned for Doom. I could see him playing Captain Britain, honestly. I think that would be kind of a cool, weird, outside the box casting is to bring Captain Britain into it. Couldn't be worse than the Watto from. No, true. 50 Shades of Grey, yeah. I mean, that's kind of the thing that she's, I guess, most known for. I love the Suspiria remake. People tell me I'm crazy that I prefer it over the original one. Dakota Johnson. Also be a good porn name, but like a Southwestern porn name. So I wrote a trailer for NFL Superstar, but in the style of the movie Concussion, the fucking Will Smith Concussion NFL movie, and it was gonna be like this serious. I was gonna write this trailer, this very serious, you know, movie where NFL Super Pro has PT, you know, has post concussion syndrome. Then again, I always really wanted to do, and I just never had the money to do it. There's three trailers I've always wanted to make, and we almost made two of them when I was at Screenway, but it turned out to be too much work. I wanted to do a Splatterhouse trailer in the style of a 1980s Charles Band movie, and then I wanted to do a Dazzler movie trailer set as if it was a 1970s Roger Corman movie, and then I always wanted to do a Mortal Kombat trailer, but done in the style of a 1970s Shaw Brothers film. I mean, Batman would be the obvious choice there. Like if you did a like Batman Beyond movie that's like Into the Spider-Verse, where Batman's kind of drawn back through time in different dimensions, stuff like that. I know they did that in the animated series where the old Bruce Wayne is just like I don't ever remember this happening or something like that. That would be kind of cool. The Flash multiverse team, they messed that up so bad that oh man, John Woo style, the fucking Guns Akimbo style, like Hard Boiled or Bullet in the Head and stuff like that. I fucking love those movies, man. The level of kinetic energy in those movies is just fucking crazy. I don't know how anyone could ever do some of that shit, you know? There's this great trailer, and it's God. I don't remember what it's called, but it's like a bunch of little kids that are ninjas, but you can tell that they're getting kicked by adults for real, and it looks painful. But that came out of that same era of like the Korean and, you know, Chinese action films and stuff like that, where there was just so much. It was so fast. I just don't know how they were able to do some of this. I don't know how fucking Jackie Chan's not paralyzed, you know? Yeah, Taylor Swift's going to be Dazzler in Deadpool 3, from what I read. That could be kind of cool. I'm always like so impressed by people who can shoot fight scenes. You know, the ones that we did for Swamp Zombies 2, I feel bad because I didn't give Len the shit he needed to make cool fight scenes. So I was always like, all right, the next one has to be better. Like the next thing I do that has any of that shit in it has to like give the people what they need to do, you know, cool shit on camera, you know? That could be good. Yeah, I think so. You know, he was going to. He was gonna make a death. Yeah, Deathstroke. Deathstroke the Terminator. What am I thinking of? Oh, Deathlock, the Marvel character is what I was thinking. Oh, why the fuck was I thinking of Deathlock? Nobody remembers Deathlock. Um, you know, but yeah, no, he was gonna at one point, and I fucking love those two Raid 2 especially. I just love that it's a long car chase movie. Um, again, I'm trying to learn in filmmaking like how to move the camera more in a more fluid way, and I still like what I can get up here, like I can visualize something really fucking badass, but I don't know how to do it yet. So that's one of those things. Like, well, if you're gonna make something cool, it's got to have some kind of energy to it, and I'm still not at that point yet. Black Belt Jones is fun. Black Belt Jones is fun. The Tim Ritter did a short series for Tubi that Fredo and Ray produced because my poster artist did the artwork for it. I did a review. I wasn't crazy about it. One of the fucking actors in that movie was so fucking angry about the bad review that I gave that like he started coming at me on Twitter and then coming at me in the comments section. And I was like, dude, I'm allowed to have an opinion. Like, not everybody's gonna fucking like everything that you do. Yeah, I don't remember. Andrew, one of the dudes on Instagram, sent me a thing. He's like, "Who's this character?" I was like, "Oh, it's Deathlock." Because I have a lot of. Remember, I didn't, yeah, he pointed out that I was folding laundry, that I'm not a real movie reviewer, and I was like, I know I'm not a real movie reviewer. I've been saying that since I've been reviewing movies. That's, are you new here? Well, actually, he was new here. I don't know. I love black exploitation movies. And I just felt like it hit them. It didn't hit any of the marks, and I also felt that yeah, the guy was pissed. He was super pissed. But people again, you got to act in a thing that's out there, and he has other IMDb credits. I was like, yeah, people are gonna tell you suck sometimes, and I didn't even say he sucked. I actually said that he was the one part of the thing that I liked, but he didn't like that. I was like, I said to him in one of the comments, I was like, I can copy and paste some of the bad reviews I got if you'd like to see those, you know. Oh, and I said something about my dick, and that he said that how inappropriate that was. Yet he's playing a pimp in the movie. He did leave a bad review for Swamp Zombies. I thought it was pretty funny. Um, you know, I know you're not a video game guy. So I had the CDI when I was a kid, because my dad thought it was going to be like the next big fucking system, and we had that one, and it was terrible. Uh, there was like one thing about like paintings, um, and like with like jazz music behind it and shit. And then there was like the Mario one where like King Kong was stolen or something like that. Newt kind of looks like Link. I'll wear a little green outfit. I'll fucking break into your house and throw pots on the ground. Yeah, I think that oh yeah, I remember it. The flowers of like something Maplethorpe or whatever. I just remember getting that and being like, wow, thanks. um, but yeah, that's right. Deathlock was in the Carnage series. Remember that video game for Sega, Maximum Carnage with fucking music by Green Jelly? That was some good shit. But yeah, no, I've gotten some terrible reviews, and you just roll with it. I would love to see Natural Born Killers done in the style of a CGI. That would be funny with the red cartridge. Yeah, yeah, that game was awesome. The Death of Superman one. There was like that late era of like Sega games that I had that based on video games. Remember what was the one like Comic City or something like that? I remember playing the shit out of that game. Um, The Flowers of Robert Mapplethorpe. That's what it was. I had that. I don't know why. Um, Comic Zone. Yes, Comic Zone was awesome. I really liked that one when I was a kid. Now, granted, I haven't seen it in 30 plus years. It probably sucks now, but I just remember really, really digging that because I was like super into. I've been super into comic books my entire life, but the '90s were just like a special era of fucking oversaturation. Um, oh, you can play on. Okay, the one stage with the flowers. That was a great stage, right? You know, you'll never forget the first time you played the flower stage. Uh, yeah, I don't know. We never really got much use out of the. It was a Sega game. Yeah, no, Maximum Carnage is a Sega game. I had it. Um, you fight through panels. I see. I'd love to one day make a fucking straight up side scroller beat 'em up movie. You know, Xavier, how's it going, Newt? How was it the theater? Um, I'm slowly starting to realize that I might need to leave the theater soon and try something different because I feel kind of like stuck of late and kind of unhappy with the where things are going. So we'll see about that. Streets of Rage, the movie. Yeah, I thought they were doing that, right? Like, aren't they doing a Streets of Rage movie? But yeah, I've been thinking for a really long time. I had this idea. We had the rights at one point for this British movie that was made for like no money in the 1980s called Death Run, or Mutant City, I think was the other name that it had for it. And the dude who made the 80s one died, but the people who owned the company asked us if we wanted to write a sequel. Where, because at the end of the first one, the would you become, no, I can't afford to become a full-time content creator. I've been looking around at other jobs recently just to kind of like try something different and kind of break some of those modes. But yeah, so at the end of the movie there's a baby born and he's like a mutant baby, so we thought it'd be kind of cool if in this new one he's like the Amatum Joe of it, and then we do it like where these people are kind of released and they just are on the run the entire thing. So each level would be a different scene, but it would just be constant motion forward. There's no stopping throughout the entire thing. So it'd be sort of like Hardcore Henry meets the Running Man almost. Because I've never seen anyone do like a beat 'em up as like a film, you know. And those are, I like button masher games because I don't know anything about like, you know, like I don't know how to play video games. I like just smashing things, you know, or fighting games and stuff like that. Like I can do those. Man, if I can get the rights, that would be amazing. I wrote an entire screenplay for it, just like the Pokemon one. I know I could never make them, but I still wanted to test myself. So I wrote a full 112-page screenplay for what Paperboy 3 would be. But yeah, we would never get the rights to that. And that's been so long. And also, Justin owns that content. I don't, so I can't do anything with it because he doesn't talk to me anymore, so I couldn't do anything. Literal Running Man. Yeah, I mean, you know, basically. But, you know, with my own twist. It was sort of, actually, it would be sort of like the Running Man meets, do you remember that Twilight Zone episode where the clown, the ballerina, the general, they all wake up in this cylindrical room and it turns out they're dolls at the end? I was kind of thinking something like that where these people wake up and they're in like garish costumes, like, you know, like you would see in a fucking a beat 'em up game where there's like dudes wearing like cut off denim, you know, like a thin version of Kieran or something. And I was like, weird fucking cool costumes like that would be kind of fun. Um, I don't know, just dumb ideas that bounce around in my noodle that I'll never do anything with. Um, you know, because I'm just getting tired of looking at 25 fucking screenplays that I've written that are just sitting on my desktop, and it gets so depressing to look at them and go like, why did I waste my time on this? Chad version of Sasquatch. I wanted to make Sass Squatch, and it's a gay Sasquatch that gives advice on YouTube. Um, yeah, my Pokemon trailer is an R-rated. Yeah, Double Dragon is a movie. I saw it in the theaters with Alyssa Milano and the fucking dude from Party of Five and Robert Patrick. I really like Street Fighter, and people always tell me I'm wrong about that one, but I think Street Fighter is pretty fun. It's a nice satire of 90s action movies. Yes, that's exactly what it's called, Xavier. Scott Wolf. Good old Scott Wolf. Um, but yeah, so but yeah, I did the Pokemon trailer as an R-rated thing way before people were fucking turning Winnie the Pooh into a killer. Oh, that's right, he was in that too. It was the 90s. It's hard to explain it to people who weren't there. I think the only video game movie that I like really, really Paperboy. There we go. I'll deliver on time. Um, I don't know. I guess everybody other than two people in that. Two people don't talk to me. Everybody else still does. So we got that. That was like posting the coin slots trailer. I was like, oh wow, in this one, Justin's the only person who doesn't talk to me for once, you know? Robert Patrick with Vanilla Ice hair. Yeah, that was a choice. Like the producers were like, it was either like, this is what your character is gonna look like, or this was his idea. Tara Patrick. Yeah, I met her at a thing as well one time. She's super tall. We were at a video expo back when we were doing Underbelly, and we met her. 10%, you know, better than nothing, right? Better than 0%. And Raul Julia is so good in that movie, you know. So it's the weakest link of that movie is Jean-Claude Van Damme because you can't understand a fucking word he's saying, and he's supposed to be like all American hero guy, you know. Fucking immigrants taking our job. What did she smell like? I don't remember. Probably good. I mean, I would assume good. It was around the same time that she was in that Aquatine Hunger Force video or episode as well. Because that's people who we were with. The only thing they knew her from was from the Aqua Teen episode. And I was like, yes, that's what I know her from too. Raul, he was great. I mean, just such a great actor, and such a shame to lose him so young because I feel like he had so much more he could have done. Oh yeah, he was coked out of his fucking mind. No nuts. Eric, you missed it. I was talking about you earlier and saying fucking wonderful, glowing things about you. Anybody who's in here who was here earlier, please reiterate the nice things that I was saying about Eric earlier when I was calling you a fucking great actor and how after seeing you in the fucking Game Chaser movie, how I thought it's crazy that you haven't done more fucking acting because you're so good and so fucking natural in it. You know, you're one of those few YouTube guys who isn't a piece of shit and has always been very nice to me, even when you don't have to. So I consider you a good friend, and I can't wait until I can fucking cast you in something and make you a big star so that we can hang it over everybody else in the chat's head. Yes, we do have to get Eric more roles, you know. I said you were all right. Wow, way to do me dirty like that. No, earlier we were talking about actors who I've written stuff for, who I'm trying to get and stuff, but I can't afford them right now. And you were one of those people on my list of, watching the Game Chasers movie, and I was like, oh no, is this going to be like the AVGN movie? And being like, oh, this is actually really good and like fun and enjoyable, you know? So we will make love because I like Eric a lot. He needs roles so he can pay tolls. He said he was all right. Yeah, you guys are fucking terrible, man. Just diming me out. It's crazy when a YouTube show makes a movie and honors the thing that they do that people would know them from, but still tells like a new story where people can get into it, but like doesn't make it embarrassing, Make sensual, sweet man on man love. Oh, we're going to, we're going to. I'll gently caress his beard. Eric's seen my dick. I think because Eric and I are kind of the same height too. So we could be like tiny buddy cops, Hey, shooting, I know, right? Going to California to shoot when you have everything at your disposal in Philadelphia, why not? I lost friends about that thing, and I wasn't even connected with it because they had one fucking effects house using another effects house to get more money, and then they found out they were getting played, and because I tangentially knew those people, these people stopped talking to me, and I was like, what the fuck do I have to do with this fucking thing? I auditioned for that movie, and they gave my role to Andre the Black Comedy Nerd, but that was supposed to be my role because I got called back twice for it, and then I couldn't do it because of work. And that Andre guy also blocked me on social media because he went to go visit a school in some video, and it was an all-white school. And Justin and I, back when we were friends, like made fun of him for it. And I was like, he's a coward that he wouldn't go to an inner city school and try to tell them about like Smurfette, and then they kill him. But remember, we did that in like 2011. We didn't know any better. We were still processing 9/11. What have I missed in the chat? Still gotta watch the Game Changer. It's good. I actually really enjoyed it. And when I did the review, hey, what's going on, Featured Films? When they sent me a link to it, granted, they sent me a link to it in the middle of being blackballed by Screenwave. And they are connected to Screenwave, so they didn't have to do that. And I said, look, I'm gonna do a review. I'm not gonna start anything or like whatever. I could have easily talked about the mistakes of the AVGN movie and the things that the Game Chasers movie did well. But I genuinely enjoyed it, and I wasn't trying to like jerk them off or anything like that. I was like, this is fun. This is like a fun B movie that shows reverence for its source material that it's based on, and everybody in it like actually could act, and you could tell that they were enjoying themselves. How would you write a Twilight Zone movie or episode? Well, I would never decapitate Vic Morrow. I would not do that first, like the Twilight Zone movie. You can't do the Twilight Zone anymore. Like, Black Mirror is this version of the Twilight Zone, so you can't even do that anymore. It's like, why even make a fucking Fantastic Four movie? The Incredibles happened. Like, there's no reason to do it anymore. A better version of it already exists, So it's like, it's hard to... It's not hard to tell a story and use horror or science fiction or fantasy to parallel things in modern day society or anything like that. But I just feel like Night Gallery I would really enjoy. Actually, that would be really fucking cool. They all seem like, yeah, I mean, I knew them because one of the kids is wearing a Game Chasers t-shirt who's getting pulled behind the bike in the Paperboy trailer. And he's just wearing, because we had a Game Chasers t-shirt. I didn't know who they were. I wasn't a YouTube, like even when we were doing Underbelly, I was never involved in like the gaming stuff because I didn't know that stuff, Hey, it's done. All right. Amityville versus the Galactic Samurai Schoolgirls is done and has been approved by Donald Farmer. So that's our next finished project. So that's awesome, man. But yeah, the Night Galleries movie would be dope as fuck. Remember when they brought back Outer Limits for a while in the 90s as well? You gotta roll. What's up? Hey, what's going on, Steve? Welcome to everyone who's joining us. We've been on for almost 3 hours, but I just got a text message from Brian Wild from Red Cup Films telling me that Donald approved the Amityville versus the Galactic Samurai Schoolgirls trailer or short film for Amityville Aliens that I wrote and was a kind of producer on. Basically, I just I got them Will Keenan from Romeo and Juliet, and I got them Fallon, and I wrote it, and then they did all the hard work. And then as soon as we can get it together, we'll finish shooting Darby's Scream House, which is the horror Darby thing, Barbie thing that I wrote, and then all the projects I have for Donald are done. There's like 6 or 7 things that I've either written for him or shot for him that all have distribution. And I honestly think like people are going to tear it apart, but it's going to get a lot of press. Shark Exorcist 2 comes out in April. That thing is going to get a lot of buzz because the first one got a lot of buzz. It was huge in Japan. And shows like Red Letter Media are going to cover it and shit like that. And that's just more, even if people make fun of it, the scene I shot I know is really fucking funny. It's just Fallon on camera playing like a Paris Hilton type. I think that one's really good. And then we have the Blood Bitch Baby one that Madeline found and I shot. And that one's fucking sexy and creepy and weird. They're all kind of grinding up on each other and shit like that. And Madeline's, all topless and stuff like that. So, what's next once you finish with all these projects? I don't know. I keep trying to find new shit to do, but I don't have any money to shoot things right now. I kind of made myself broke this last year finishing things. So, I'm hoping that some more writing jobs will come through. Um, is Fallon nude in this movie? No, she's not. But in Amityville Halloween, I wrote a scene where she has a very, very, very seductive dance that she approved that. So we'll get that one together. My thoughts on Dead Alive. Dead Alive is fantastic. It is the second greatest splatter comedy ever after Evil Dead 2. I think it's just sheer Looney Tunes level of exuberance and joy for gore. And I remember the very first time I ever saw it in 1992, and it stuck with me ever since. And I would love Peter Jackson to go back and make one more movie like that. Uh, Send me the uncut dance. I will. I'll post it on the Patreon. Did you check out Lisa Frankenstein yet? No, I was gonna go see it today. I had to go see a doctor. I might. I had to get a second opinion because there's a good chance that my big C could be back. So I was gonna go to the doctor's office to take my mind off of that, but I did not. So I have to see it eventually. I will. I really want to. I like Diablo Cody. I love Frankenstein, obviously. Do you know that Frankenstein was the dude, not the monster? But eventually I will. It's a mixture of. So I wrote it to be a mixture of Salma Hayek and Angela from Night of the Demons because we're gonna do that like strobing kind of wild thing. And yeah, so it's gonna be sexy but creepy, and then gets awkward. So she approved it, and we've been talking about how I want to shoot it and what I want it to do. And if you've ever seen her OnlyFans, you definitely know that she can do these things. Okay, I've read that. It's Heather's meets Edward Scissorhands. I'm excited about it. I like when people um, can you shoot it without a boner? Um, I'll tell you what, man. The episode that we did where she showed me her OnlyFans, that was hard to get through. I had to think about baseball a lot during that. Because I'm not a person who has any like willpower when it comes to not being like a diamond in an ice storm. So I had to really like focus. But yeah, but no, that should be a fun one. I wrote that script for the two of us to make. Uh, and that's I wrote Eric 8 Eric a scene for that one where he plays a YouTube conspiracy theorist, and it'll be kind of fun for him and some other people. So hopefully hopefully I can come up with the money to get that one done. And they're done shooting Scissors, and the dude who rewrote that script and then produced it, he asked me if I wanted to write something else with him. He's making a cyberpunk like action thing right now. So when he's done with that, he said we would talk. That'd be kind of cool because I really liked writing with him. Robbie, who I wrote a bunch of stuff for in Kansas City, he's got a bunch of shit coming out that I worked on, and then I sent him a bunch of shorts that I never had any place else to put them in his movie. So I don't know. I'm hoping that like by summertime and into the fall, stuff will start coming out, and then I'll start to kind of feel like, all right, I've accomplished something. The first 6 issues of the comic will be done by July, I'm told, and then we'll have our release party, or like our first release in the summertime, hopefully. And I've already written 2 sequels. Uh, yes, I know, but Sapphire jacks off on with audio only on a thing somebody sent me. I've heard about that. Or makes posts about choking on their boyfriend's dick or something like that, and I was just like, I don't know, man. Sometimes it's better that I'm blocked by these people. If I did that, or if any of the girls who I worked with did that, they'd be fucking like, thrown to the wolves. But yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that we can get some shit done and get some stuff out and then I'll feel a little bit better. And then we can figure out, uh, okay, but like I literally at any point can just go like this and I remember what it sounds like, because I did that for 15 years. you know. But good for them, man. It's good to own one's sexuality. You make a little money on it. I will never ever ever fault anyone for that. I always told her I wanted her to be sexier when we were doing stuff. But I gotta go. Hey, good night, Hell Night. You know, never mind. Exactly. No, but not everybody's comfortable with that stuff at certain times. Everybody finds things on their own times, and good for them if you can monetize it. Ugh, yikes. Her new boyfriend must be very endowed then. Um, I don't know, man. I don't. It is what it is. All I want in this fucking world, dude, is to one day know that I won. I just want to have this something out there that they go, well, fuck, we should have believed in him. That's all I want. That's all I've ever wanted. And I'll probably never get that, but I wish it was my stripper name. All I want is pizza. I don't blame you. I had chicken parm earlier. It was actually really good. Um, but good for them, man. You find out something new every day from Horn Dog. Thank you, Xavier. I wish I believed in myself, but I've got too much money and time invested to someone sent you the audio. That's messed up. No, they told me about it though. I got a screenshot that's like all in red of like her in like a bra or something like that. And then they told me, and I was like, please stop. I don't care. Um, Vladimir put it in. Yep. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. It's weird. The whole fucking thing is weird. It's all weird. The parasocial relationships you have with people when you see like, oh, these people used to be friends, and now these people are over here, and it's weird. It's all interconnected but not connected, and and I don't know anymore. But then again, I like it's weird too because I listen to Metz's stories, and I'm like, that's crazy. Like you have a way more interesting life than me, or Fallon. I go like, wow, you have a way more interesting life from me. Yeah, I heard about that too. I have no interest. Even then, I just looked at her. I was like, somebody should be protecting that person. But they're all terrible. They're all bad people who fucking they relish being like, early 2000s cringe people. I do. I should watch Oprah. Um, but yeah, no, I don't know. I want to surround myself with not trash people and not have to if anything does ever go well, not have to deal with the repercussions of you know nonsense from people or whatever. But I guess those guys like they're playing the straight and narrow because they have a corporate backing and they can't step out of line and he can't do the shit that he used to do where he was like making fun of you know certain communities and stuff like that. No, Fallon is great, and I'm so glad that. Good night, Wes. I'm glad that Fallon and I had our falling out last year over creative things, and it was nothing more than that. And then we were able to kind of talk it out, and we both come from very similar emotional places. As far as things that have happened to us in our past and how people have treated us and been used and stuff like that. And I love Fallon. Like I genuinely, we say we love each other all the time. Fallon is one of those people who's friends with huge fucking celebrities and has dudes that are worth millions and millions of dollars are all up wanting to be spend time with her, but she wants to spend time with me because she sees something in me as a creative, you know, and that's she's too hot to, you know, it doesn't hurt that she's very attractive too, but I try not to look at her that way, you know, it makes the job harder. Um, no, I just think that, like, you know, as somebody who invests in you emotionally and stuff like that, that's huge to me, you know, because it sucks to find out after the fact that when people who you put a lot of effort and belief into never believed in you, they were using you to get to the next step. And then once they don't need you anymore, they get rid of you, and they boast about how they only kept you around because they were trying to get to the next thing and they thought that you might be able to break some, you know, break through on something. Now to have people who actually give a shit and like actually read the scripts that you send them and not show up on the day to do lines and like it looks like it's the first time they've ever seen the English language, you know. And what I write is very difficult too. There's a lot of like double speak and like rhyming in how I like people to read things. So it took a lot of takes, you know, and it made people uncomfortable sometimes. But you know, Fallon gets it and Metz gets it, and no, but I was. I mean, and they got exactly what they wanted. Look at them now, you know? And I'm left with a lot of fucking content that I made that I can't use, you know? When you have money, karma won't come back on them. Ryan will make sure of that. But, you know, it sucks of all it sucks to like, you ever see the Simpsons movie? Remember when they quarantine fucking Springfield, and it's like on the map ahead of you is nothing. They remove an entire town. That's how I feel in certain people's lives. Like all this shit that we made that was cool shit is just gone now. And it's not like fuck I wasted my time. It's like no, I'm proud of that shit that I made. Like it started up here and it went to here and then boom, it was out in the world. That's an amazing fucking feeling when you can like make something, you know, you can something start as an idea and next thing you know there's fucking people dressed up in costumes doing it, you know. That's a wild fucking thought to me, and I've worked on a lot of shit, and I still get giddy every fucking time I get to go like, oh my god, do you think I could talk my friends into doing this? And then we do it and it's awesome, you know. But yeah, it's one of those fucking things that I always get excited about. It sucks when people are ashamed of things that you guys worked on together. And that's one of the things that really bugs me the most of all. It's like, oh, you can't be friends with people. But like, I don't know, it's cool that like you made this thing once, you know? You have no idea. And then his dad sued him, but that's a whole other story that I can't talk about. Uh, but yeah, man, I don't know. I haven't lost my passion for this stuff yet. And if it's not just talking about movies or getting excited about the stuff, it's getting on set and having people there who I know want to be there now and making things and having, you know, even like Donald Farmer. Like people will make fun of Donald Farmer shit, but dude, he's a fucking got a name in the B movie world. I wish I had a fucking name in the B movie world, and he actually like likes my work. That's crazy to me. Same thing with like Fredo and Ray, like that. I never fucking thought that would happen, you know? So like little things like that are just shit that I try to remind myself. And the fact that I got Fallon in my corner, the fact that I have Mets I know will kill somebody if I ask them to, you know, like shit like that's important, you know. Trying to get Melissa to come back into the fold as well, but they're going through some life stuff with work and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, and then I'm going through my shit too. And I'm just trying, like I said, in the event that it turns out that I have prostate cancer, okay? Not saying I do, but I'm being tested for it again. All right? This is the second time. So, oh yeah, true. Didn't think about that. Trans face. So, you know, in the event that that's a thing, I want to have as much clarity as I can with people. I want to just have positive people around because if I'm going through something, I don't want to be a burden on people. You know, I don't have any emergency contacts. I realized that when I had to go to the doctor the first time, all my emergency contacts were still the redhead, and I haven't checked it in so long. I was like, oh fuck. That would have been awkward if something happened to me. um, oh yeah, but he makes exactly the kind of movie he wants to make. You know, um, Metz is one of my emergency contacts now. I made Metz one of my emergency contacts, and Amber is one of them as well. You know, because they were all the redhead, and it had been that way since 2007. So I didn't realize it until my doctor asked me for a to come back in for a follow up, and I had to update all my info, and I was like, oh shit, oof, good thing nothing happened because they weren't answering that call. I'd be dead. Because I think I got a new phone anyway, so I lost all my numbers. But I was like, that wouldn't have been a good sign. People would be like, what happened to Newt? But it's slowly but surely we're moving into a new world, a new dimension, and a dimension of sights and sounds and mind. And I'm hoping that I can, my biggest fear is letting people down who believed in me, letting people down who continue to watch and say nice things when they didn't have to. They could have gone with the fucking mob and stuff like that, or you know, or go like, fuck that dude. I'm gonna stay over here with the video store guys. I don't want to let any of you people down. Um, that's right. I did promise that to Mets. Um, and I don't. I started a Patreon shit like that because I had a place to put other stuff. And if I make a couple extra bucks, that's fine. I don't. Any money that I make, I give Mets food or gas money to come here, or I use it to movie stuff that we're making. Old Newt, new Newt, Clash of the Newtons. Yeah, I wouldn't. I actually, I know all my old self's weaknesses, so it'd be easy. Yeah, man. You can vouch. I try to be a fucking good dude. You can say a lot of stuff about me, and I fucked a lot of stuff up, and I haven't always been the greatest person, and I made some fucking dumb mistakes. But I always feel fucking bad about it, and let them not be able to kill them. Well, yeah, we have to make sure you get killed in one of the movies. Um, again, this is like a 3 hour long therapy session. I don't know. I worry a lot about that stuff. I worry a lot about my past forever being a thing, and me never being able to shed that skin, me never being able to get over those people, because it does. It's still something that's there every fucking day. And it's not even like I bring it up sometimes. Like I'm responsible for bringing it up. Fallon's always telling me like, shut the fuck up, stop talking about it. She dealt with a way bigger thing with her whole thing. No, I know a lot of people just go, whatever, and but the internet never forgets, and it's lost me a lot of jobs. Like I think about like money I've lost on other gigs because of all that stuff, and I do love my perverted community because I'm a pervert, um, but I'm a pervert around certain people when I can trust them to really let loose, you know. Uh, there's so much shit that like that even Metz is like, oh no, nope, we're cutting that out. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to uh, I'm just trying my best to do something that will be worth people's time and effort and things we could be proud of too. Like yeah, okay, maybe Swamp Zombies 2 isn't great, but I enjoy it, and it's fun, and I got to make it with some friends and shit like that. I want more of that. Even recently, somebody, another filmmaker I was talking to who worked with us, he didn't know about all this stuff because he's not like a YouTube guy, and he's like, "Oh, well, do you still work with this effects person or this horror host person?" I was like, no. And he's like, oh shit, I was going to ask them to come work on something with me, but never mind. And I was like, oh, I didn't say anything, because again, those people are people who I'd love to work with because they're talented, but I can't, and it's like, I'd love to get to a point one day where like, people kind of realize that it's all bullshit and posturing and you're never going to have the kind of clout that you think you're going to have. riding onto the coattails of those guys I used to work with. So why can't we work together? And you don't have to fucking like me, but you can still make some fucking money and we can make some art, you know? Not that schlock is art, but you know, it's a weird community, and I would love kind of like to transcend all that shit and come back as fucking Newt the White, because I'm a racist. And be like, all right, I'm here, fucking at the turn of the tide, baby. Let's make some movies, you know, and create something cool. But I feel like there's just a lot of negativity that's just never going to go away. Sunday night, there was I hosted a screening at my theater for a local indie film, and like there was a dude there who I've never met before, but I know his face. He's a Philly actor, and he was kind of like whispering about me, and he said Reddit. I heard him, you know, and my buddy Brian had to like go over and like kind of like, you know, check him a little bit, and it's like you're in his fucking space right now. He's giving you this thing. Shut the fuck up and enjoy the movie and treat the dude with some hospitality. Brian's like another Mets, except like, you know, Brian's like a big fucking dude, you know, and he scares people. So it's good to have people like him and Mets in my corner, you know. Um, it's its own thing, you know. Um, I didn't send in the mafia. He did it himself, you know. I know that, you know, I know that those two people have my back no matter what, you know, and they're both pretty good judges of character, and they didn't, you know, abandon me. There's a lot of ex-girlfriends who I had a lot of not so great experiences with, and there's a lot of arguing and stuff like that. They stuck by me, you know. There's a lot of people who saw me at my worst who stuck by me. So like I think I'm a good person, but most bad people think they're good people. Most villains think they're the hero of their story. Um, but you know, I'm trying to be better. You know, my brother is an asshole. I'm sorry to hear that. Uh, but yeah, you know, I just want things to be okay, man. I just want I want to make things with cool people, and for, you know, and you know, if you're still gonna say, oh, he's a plagiarist, like, all right, well, he's got all this other shit that he clearly wrote for somebody and they paid him for it, so maybe we move away from that narrative now, you know. Yeah, and a lot again, and a lot of people did stick around. A lot of people don't care, you know. Was it Kieran? No, he wouldn't come to my theater. Um, he's like, I don't know what he's doing now. I think somebody, a friend of mine, said they saw him at the Columbus flea market selling like old DVDs and stuff. Um, but with that guy Marshall who used to always be around. But yeah, I don't know. I it takes time. I know, and as we go, we meet people. You know, Madeline. I met Madeline on a film set. You know, and we fucking we hit it off so effortlessly. And she's become such a huge part of everything that I'm doing now. Um, you know, because I get like fascinated by people. I like the way that people they talk and they move and shit like that. Hard enough to make movies in there. No, I agree. It's hard enough to make movies fucking anywhere, man. Close it at 10 o'clock on a Thursday? What? No way. Now he's the movies guy. You're drinking beer for dinner. I don't have any booze here. What the fuck cares? He plagiarized YouTube. Some people care, because that's something they can hold over me, you know. And granted, they're all using fucking Chat GPT now, and there was plagiarism before me, and there's been plagiarism after me, you know. But it's just I was the most you know, marquee of it, you know. If anything, I just exposed that the dude doesn't do any work himself, and that nobody checks the work. But that's not a good thing. That's a bad thing because it's hurt me. I lost out on that fucking asylum job, which would have been a lot of money. And it could have really helped the situation that I'm in now. I've been dropped from some other projects because of it. Yeah, I've been dropped from acting jobs because of it. So you know, and people don't want don't want the hassle, and I feel bad too because I don't want. Um, uh, yeah, they don't respect me. They should. They should erect statues to me. No, they shouldn't. I don't. I again. I'm fucking somebody who considers himself a writer. I'm every day I'm ashamed of my mistakes, and I'm ashamed of how I acted and all that kind of stuff. It's not. You know. It's. I try to make jokes of it now because it sucks. It sucks that somebody who fancied themselves as above all that shit does stupid shit, you know. But yeah, we've actually talked about that before. Another a comic book writer friend of mine wanted to do a character called the Plagiarist, and he asked if I could he could draw me into it, and I was like, yeah, if I can write it. And then when he said yes, I just sent him a comic book script of Spawn that I copied and pasted off of another thing and sent it to him. He's like, "You're a dick." Not rising from any ashes yet, man. I've had a couple victories, a couple little things, you know. But you know, it's no, I'm ashamed. It's I think about this stuff all the time, man. Think about how much different my life would be right now. Oh, I think about like had I not left Wayne Theater and gone to work over there, I think things could be a lot different. Had I just done the work, um, or had I just said no, it's not my job to do, or it's too much, or I've got all this other shit going on, how much different my life would be. But I didn't. This is the choices that we made, you know. And you know, in the last almost 3 years, it's the coming to grips with that. It's the coming to grips with your own mistakes and your the shit that you know the people aren't here anymore, and the new people who are here, and the people who are here, you know. Even like on Triple Xmas, like you know, that who was a dude did like a 3 hour long video about plagiarism, and then I was in that. It was around the time that Triple Xmas had its premiere, and people at the St. Louis premiere apparently like that was like a big deal that like you know I'm gonna hurt their movie, and then James, the director, and I had to have a talk, and I'm like, dude, if you want to take me out of the credits and all that kind of stuff, I completely understand because I don't want to hurt your movie with dumb shit that I did 3 years ago. Like that's the kind of stuff I don't want to ruin someone else's art because I made a mistake, you know. So that's something I think about a lot is just like I'm so honored to be asked to do things, to be part of things, to act, to write, to produce, whatever. But if my being involved with something hurts your thing, then I'm not going to be offended if you don't want me to be part of it anymore, you know? No, I don't think he knew who I was. I mean, Mets watched it. Mets told me about it, said that they could have gone a lot harder on me. But you know, that's always gonna be. It's like you know, like the South Park episode with like the Kramer's the N-word guy. Like I'm the plagiarist guy. You know, that's the hope, man. That's the hope is that the best revenge will be success. And so far, like little things that I've done that I'm proud of. I'm, you know, anytime that, you know, Donald Farmer asked me to do something, I jump to do it. Anytime that Fredo and Ray asked me to do something, I jump to do it. You know, when Mark Polton asked me to write Ma'am, the wrestling comic book, 100 fucking percent, dude. I was so fucking excited to get asked to write that, and you know, I've been writing my own screenplays. I got 20 fucking six screenplays completed, over 90, all of them over 90 pages, just rotting on my desktop right now. You know, Vampire is sitting in Alabama right now. You know, until he gets an effects guy. Mars vs. Cheerleaders is in Arizona until they get that stuff together. And That's fine though. If that's what you want to do is make fucking audio orgasms, dude, that's fine. Like, you know, one day I want to have the flexes one day just have a bunch of shit they're not involved in and just offer her a role and see what she says. Because I know she'll say no because she can't, you know. They ostracize her, you know. They'd put her backwards on a horse and put a mascot head on her and walk her into the desert like in Beyond Thunderdome. But I'd love to one day just be like, here, I wrote this thing and I wanted you to be in it and offer you, you know, money to be in it. But no, she'll definitely say no. But you know, I could say I tried. Yeah, man. When I'm in Arizona, I'd love to hang out. You know, Race has offered me to stay at his place, and you know, and I'd love to come out and meet everybody for that. Right? Well, Full Moon doesn't own either of those characters, so that'd be hard. I got a script. I got a Ghoulies Gritters. I've got a Ghoulies and Critters script, but it's with little mutant shark monsters, and it's called Bite Size. And I wrote that a couple years ago, and that's a really fucking fun one with like little, you know, the little sharks with personalities and stuff like that. And it's got some really fucking wicked kills in it and stuff. So I'm hoping that I can get out to California this year for the AFM, if I can put some money together and stuff or have projects together, but we'll see about that. I think I'm going to be, I think I said before, I'm going to be in Kentucky in July for a con. Um, uh, let's see, I missed something here. Let me see something. Yeah, well, um, eventually we're gonna hang out, or eventually we're gonna have to do like a stream, like you and I, once I get the computer all set up. Um, I'd love to meet people and fucking hang out. Like Ohio was like the time where like we got to meet a bunch of fucking people and hang out that people I didn't even know like were coming, and that was super fucking cool to like see like, oh, there's like I put a name to a face. Let's see. Do you have any recommendations getting started in the script writing? I'm reading Save the Cat right now. Do I have any? That is true. Mario Tosa is way too good looking. And he'll like have like a new pair of glasses or something, and I'll be like, "Fuck you, dude." I don't know. I don't know. I'll get an idea, and I'll just sit down and just force myself to start writing. And as long as you have something on the page, then you can go back and adjust it. So I just force myself to hammer through like a shitty first draft. As long as I know where the story's going as I write it, because I don't really I don't really outline anymore. I used to, but now it's just like I kind of know these are the beats I want to hit, and I know where it's going to end. It's like a good mystery writer. They know where the story's ending, so then you work your way backwards from there. But most of the time, it's just like I just sit down and start typing, and just see what happens. Then I go back and just tweak, tweak, tweak. I wrote like 50 pages of the Popeye script over the last few days. And I'll probably never make this thing, but I'm like giving myself an exercise to only use the elements that are actually in the public domain, because you want so desperately to use the other things that people know about Popeye. But I was like, no, I'm going to force myself to do just this. Which, it means like using like castor oil and like those type of characters in it. But I don't know. I don't really have any. Don't fucking take writing advice from me. Jesus Christ, I'm a plagiarist. I don't know. When I get onto an idea that I really like, I get super excited. And yeah, it's true. I could just say he's gay, and then all your bases belong to me. Dork Knight Rises sometimes. But yeah, I don't know. I get excited about projects, and when I get excited about something, I want to get it out of my head as quick as possible, and then give it to somebody to read, and then they tell me what they think. I like that. I like that Metz will read all my stuff. I love that Fallon will give me feedback as somebody who's an actor and a singer and a performer. They'll give me a lot of feedback, which I really dig. But I've got a whole fucking pile of scripts that are just sitting and waiting. And in a perfect world, I'd be able to start whittling down the pile. But it's probably never going to happen. But if I could get like one or two made, I'll feel somewhat content that it was my dumb idea. Again, it was something started right here, and it's there and it's out, and the new Creepshow series. Did you watch it? The last one I saw was the episode with like Molly Ringwald as like a principal. That was probably like a couple years ago. Oh, it sucks. It sucks trying to get people to read things. Because whenever people send me stuff, I read it. But I always tell them like, hey, you got to give me a couple days, because I like, you don't want to. One of the biggest things I fucking hate is when you go, oh, it's really good. Well, can you give me any more details than that? No. It's like, because you didn't read it, you just said you did. No, I think that anything I do is gonna have to be self-financed, or like itty bitty, you know. any of the ideas I have are kind of antiquated. You know, you look behind me at the kind of shit that I like, and that's not really the vibe anymore. There is a market out there for it, but I don't feel like that's something a studio would ever be interested in. Now, granted, saying that, there is a small independent production company that's made some stuff that has one of my scripts right now. I don't know if it's going to get made. You know, I sent them a pitch. They were asking for pitches, and they really liked one of them. So I've sent them all the stuff that I have, and they are still on the hook for it right now. So that would be cool if that got made. You know, I don't think they're looking for me to direct it. I think they have their own people, but I didn't see Men yet. I want to, and I know it's streaming, but I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch it yet. But you know, it'd be cool to have them make that one. You know, again, it's like I've been trying to write really small, one location, minimal actors, minimal special effects type stuff. That's what Amityville Halloween is. And I was fucking flabbergasted that nobody had used that title yet. So I quickly claimed it on IMDb. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to write smaller and more doable, and every day I'm continuing to try to learn new shit about gear and sound and editing and all that kind of stuff. And granted, I can't do any of it, but like I'm at least trying to know, so if I do get on a set, I can kind of speak with a little bit more authority, because I don't have the fallback that I used to have, which was like Justin and people like that who were always there to make my ideas look better and sound better, you know? You ever had a country fried steak? I don't think so. Good night, my fellow pervert. I don't think I've ever had a country fried steak before. I've had like steak, like breakfast steak before. Dude, I was talking yesterday. I was trying to find out what Tokusatsu stuff is public domain, because I would love to make the Power Ranger version of Kung Pao. You know, using, or like a Godfrey Ho style movie, but all like, you know, kaiju stuff and Sentai stuff. And apparently the Japanese have like weird rules about stuff, so I can't find any of it that's public domain. But I thought that would be a really cool fucking concept to do. I think Spectreman might be public domain, but I think only the American track of it. But yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, a giant fucking monster movie, and guys in superhero suits and shit like that. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, my Popeye idea is essentially Joe D'Amato's Anthropophagus meets The Shadow over Innsmouth, where this people go to this deserted seaside town that has a legend about this strong man who's an aquatic human mutant thing. And so far I'm writing it, and it's funny, but it's really fucking fucked up. World War Amityville. How about Planet Amityville, or Amityville Planet? You know, because Amityville in space did nothing for me. They pick up someone in need stranded at sea. Yeah. Yeah, and I've so far I've been writing, all the characters are named after either actors who portrayed you know, Olive Oil, Popeye, and all that, or like people who are creators over the years as well. So everyone's names are somehow connected to Popeye. I don't know. I'm gonna try to finish that one up. About 50 pages in right now. I've written that in like 4 days, and just, you know, just see if anything else pops into my head. I have a million movie ideas. I get like really into something, and then I lose interest in it. So I have to keep like, you know, reminding myself to keep pushing at it. But I'm tired, and Amityville Condo. Well, there's already like fucking Amityville like Vibrator and Amityville Outhouse and stuff like that. I wrote a trailer we never cut called Satan's Porta Potty, and it's the tagline was a hole's been dug to hell and it stinks to high heaven, or something like that. I don't remember. But we shot that a long time ago. That was fun. But again, I can't use it because it's got people in it who don't associate with me anymore. I can't win. All right, we've been going for 3 hours. I'm going to go crash. It was good hanging out with all you guys tonight. Thank you for helping me take my mind off of everything. and chatting with me and letting me tell some stories and shit like that. And maybe Mets will be back next week. If not, we'll do a review for Dune 2. And thanks, guys. It means a lot to for you guys to hang out with me and let me kind of vent a little bit. And good night.